crafters, welcome into Guys Craft 2. And today with me is
Hi.
Stephanie from Stephanie Stitches. I am so excited to have Stephanie on the channel today. How cool is that?
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for asking me.
So happy Thanksgiving.
You too. And to everybody out there.
So we are here to work on Stephanie's project. And she was so sweet to gift us the Christmas tree. Well, she's got the banner hanging up behind her. Look at that.
Yeah.
So it was funny, Stephanie, because I went to buy fabrics to figure out how I wanted to put this together. And I tend to always do really fun fabrics. And so it was interesting because I ended up with this red and gold. And I don't know if you can really see it, but it's got like
that's
hearts.
pretty.
And so it's all, and then this one's got the green and gold with stars.
I love it.
And then I did like a grunge with just the gold background. And I thought, well, that'd be so pretty. And one of the viewers was chatting and said, oh, you picked very elegant fabrics. And I thought, no, I picked the three that matched at the quilt store.
No, I agree. They're very elegant. That's going to be gorgeous.
I think so. I was really excited.
Nice. So. Oh, I'm making another one. And
are you?
I decided this time, you guys know how much I like blue, right?
Yes.
So I'm making it a blue and gray. So it'll kind of be like a wintry.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So I'll have a Christmas one and a winter one. So
we can never have too much, can we?
No. And now that my boys have stopped wearing them as capes, I can start putting table runners out.
It is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think about things, and I send stuff to my my daughter, thinking and then she's like, yeah, the kids found it and they're using it for this now, or the kids grabbed this. I was like, oh, I never even thought about that.
Yeah. Well, they each have their own quilt now, which they most of them did, but I think there was one of my kiddos that didn't. So now that they have their own quilt, they can't take the other stuff.
Does make a difference. I just finished yesterday the top of the new Hot Wheels because my grandson's huge into Hot Wheels. So I took a picture and said, here's the top done, and I'll quilt it when I get back to the valley. And my daughter laughed. She goes, oh my God. And she goes, that will be the hit of Christmas.
Yes. Like, okay. Are you going to show it on your vlog on Sunday?
I will, yes.
Oh, good. I can't wait to see it.
It's just funny. We're so fortunate sometimes with the things that come out, right? I mean, I made my granddaughter a Barbie a couple of years ago, and it was right before the movie came out.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's hard to find that novelty fabrics in that, or at least in a good quality.
It is. It's nice that Riley Blake has been picking up some of those the last couple of years, and so they're good quality fabrics. Because in some of the big box stores, they pick up those things, but they're not the best quality. So.
No, and the first quilt I did out of the big box store, and it was a black and white quilt. And I made a queen size. It was actually a Missouri Star pattern from their block book that came out, and I just fell in love with it. And it's the first big one I did, but I realized white is not white and quality is not quality. And it was like, wow, I put way too much work into this to not use the best materials.
Yeah. Well, everybody starts that way. I think I started with those kind of fabrics, and once you discover quilt shop fabrics, though, then it's all downhill. Then you lose your paycheck.
Well, and if you watch the sales, I mean, a lot of people go, well, I can't afford. And I was like, my shop runs clearance fabrics 60% off. So.
Oh, yeah. A lot of the shops have a clearance section that if you just be patient, you can get stuff for pretty inexpensive.
Yeah.
And sometimes even less than the big box stores, because their prices have really gone up too.
It's crazy. I remember when I first started, I was like, man, I'm doing good, because I remember my mother spent like 20 cents a spool for thread and all the, and I went in and it was like $10, $11 for fabric. And I was like, I don't remember Mom paying this kind of price. And that was only like 2 years ago. And now it's like 14 something.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, when my grandmother passed away, we were looking through some of her sewing things, and she had some spools that were like 20 cents, 35 cents for thread. And I was like, wow.
Well, it's taken me a long time too to realize thread is not thread.
Right.
There's all different levels of thread, different types of thread, different weights of thread. It's like, oh, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a lot of people in the chat.
That's what I was just scrolling. So Nancy was the first one to join the chat this morning. So guess who Nancy is here? Good morning. Kathy from Illinois is here watching us. I always say Illinois. Sorry. Charlotte's here. Good morning, Charlotte. There's Russ. Look at Russ joining in. Thanksgiving. Barb's here this morning. Good morning, Barb. Julie. Pamela. BBMK's here. She says, Gobble till you wobble day. She lives down in Phoenix. We met. She actually came out to the quilt club show we had out in Sun City West.
So. Oh, that's nice that you have somebody close there.
Yes. And then I run into her every so often at 35th. I think her husband's like, you need to stay away from him. He's not a good influence. But it's fun. We all support our addiction together, right?
Yeah. Well, that's a good shop. I haven't been there in years. No.
Tell you what, they have been so good to me. And the small one out in El Mirage, the manager there, that whole staff, it's just, I don't know, it makes you want to go in and spend money. And it's like, okay, because you just want to see them, right? And
yeah, that's awesome.
Steven's here this morning. Good morning, Steven.
Oh, good morning.
Balloonist is here. She's down in Tucson. Good morning.
Hi, Mona.
Katrina's here. Sweet Granny's here. That's a new one for me. Good morning.
Oh.
Christina says, Happy Thanksgiving, John and Stephanie.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Mary B is here. Daphne's here. Mary's here. Lord, look at all these. Jean, Candace. We're doing pretty good this morning. Stephanie brings in the viewers.
Oh, no. I think people are just excited to have somebody to sew with on Thanksgiving.
You mean besides just doing the turkey and the cooking and all that fun stuff?
Right. I mean, we've already got our turkey on. We started about an hour ago, but I did like pies and cookies and cranberry sauce yesterday, and I still have more cooking to go. So it's nice to have this little break.
We appreciate you taking the break this morning to come on, because I know it does make a difference too, with the time change on top of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So we are working on Stephanie's pattern. So the Christmas tree table runner. Stephanie, you have any hints or clues about best way to put this together?
Not really. It's pretty straightforward. To get it done, if you want it done for Christmas a little faster, you could chain piece everything. That'll make it go faster. Like add all your squares to your rectangles on all the pieces, trim those, press them, and then go back and add the other pieces, and then put everything together. But other than that, I'm sure you've looked through the pattern. It's a pretty simple pattern.
Yeah,
very beginner friendly.
When I started cutting it, I was like, wow, this cut up really quick.
It does. Yeah. And I don't like to cut, and I didn't mind cutting this one out. That's my least favorite part of the process, but it's the most necessary because you can't do anything without cutting.
Yeah, I will say I cheated because I do have a AccuQuilt. So
that's not cheating. That's just smart.
So all the 2.5-inch strips went through the 2.5-inch cutter, so that I can trim down.
Nice.
But there's so much. It's just like I remember the first quilt I worked on, and the lady was teaching me, and she was so sweet and nice, and we were doing all this, and she goes, okay, now you sew this, now we go over and we cut, now we iron, now we do this. And I was like, girlfriend, I'm here to learn to sew. And it seemed like I spent more time either at the cutting table or the ironing board.
Yep.
My goodness, I don't know why. But it is just funny. You just don't realize. So go.
So, Charlotte said she's chain piecing. Yeah. And Sweet Granny asked how you get the pattern. I can't drop the link in to the YouTube, but maybe you can, John, for my blog.
Stephanie Scoop. Got it.
Awesome. Thank you.
No, thank you.
The Sweet Granny's asking for it.
So I will admit I don't chain piece. It's something I still need to work on.
That's okay.
I just have not gotten there. And then every time I go to do it, it's like on a YouTube live, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
You're like, no, let's not do new skill on the live. I love your shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
That is so cute.
I like to have fun things.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
So did you already do the Hallmark experience, or is that still coming up?
No, so crazy enough, that's next weekend. So I'm off obviously today and tomorrow. And so I'll go back to work Monday, but I only work 3 days, and then I'm on vacation Thursday and Friday for the Hallmark experience.
Where is that held at?
So it's going to be at in Kansas City at their Crown Center. So it's at their corporate headquarters.
I had never even heard of that until I heard you mention it on one of your shows. And I was like, there's a Hallmark experience? That's really fun. It sounds like a great time.
Well, this is their first year. And I'm really excited to get to go, and I'm very blessed to be able to go. I will say I'm a little disappointed with Hallmark. So I think my tickets were like $250 for the gold experience or whatever, and that gets me into the reindeer games and all these things. But the issue became, like, if you want to go in the bar that they have that like overlooks the whole Christmas village and all that, just to go in the bar is $60.
Oh, that's not going to include any alcohol or anything.
No alcohol, no food, no drink, just getting you in the door. And it's like, okay, that's a little much, you know. And
that's
then,
steep. Yeah,
because my niece is going with me, and she goes, well, did you want to do brunch? And I'm like, well, I'm not a big breakfast eater, but brunch is better for me. And she goes, well, it's $150 a person. I'm like, yeah, it's not worth $150 to me.
I don't think eggs and pancakes are worth that much.
Right? And you're not meeting stars. It's not like, you know, it's.
Yeah.
And then dinner was $250 a person.
Ooh, ouch. They're pricey.
Yeah, so I was like, I already bought the tickets. You know what I mean? It was like, and then you've got all these add-ons, but the add-ons were so expensive. It was like, I don't know. I was just disappointed because I was like, I just would have expected better, I guess.
Yeah. So do you get to meet any of the Hallmark people? Oh, I can't hear you, John.
There we go. Is that better?
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Sorry. I get to meet Andrew Walker. He's the ex-football player.
Oh, okay.
I get to meet Lacey, and I can't think of her last name now, or her first name, I mean. It's like Cheney Lacey or something like that. But yeah, we get to meet like 7 stars. So I'm very excited to get to meet each of those. So that was part of what the original ticket was for.
Yeah. Good.
So, all right, let's see what's in the chat. Or Sherlock So says, this is a great pattern. My daughter and I did this together. Awesome. Sweet Granny got the pattern. Thank you.
Great.
Barb says, I started chain piecing a few years early and finished sewing the squares to the rectangles already. I just trimmed the red, getting ready to press the magic juice. Press with the magic juice.
Awesome.
She's an overachiever.
Right?
Ingrid says, Hallmark experience sounds amazing. Sherlock So says, ouch on the price. Amen.
Yeah. Ouch.
And BBMK says, what is with these cash grabs? It's like, yeah, it just, I think it just takes some of the fun out of it for folks. You know, it's like almost like Disney now. It's like Disney keeps raising their,
Oh, Disney's ridiculous for a family. If you can't afford to go there, it's crazy unless you're a millionaire.
And that's just sad, you know? I mean, because we all want to go.
Yep. I agree. I'm working on my camera. I'm sorry. For some reason, it decided to blink. Can you still hear me though?
I can. Yes.
Okay, good.
All good. Listen, the last holiday live I did, the StreamYard went down. I kept wondering if it was my, internet service, but it actually wasn't the internet service. It was StreamYard. I'm like, okay, of all days, really?
There we go. Yeah, that stinks. That's when you're in the middle of the live, then you're like, what do I do?
Yeah, because I ended up having to restart and all that, and it reminded me of Russ. I guess the first time him and Sean did a live.
Yes, poor Sean. His power just totally blinked. And Russ, that was his first time on any live at all. And he's sitting there like, what do I do?
Steven says, is the Hallmark the card company? If so, they are failing in Canada, so maybe this is how they are building capital. And it is the card company, yes. And I am a big proponent of Hallmark. I mean, I shop their Christmas ornaments every year. I'm part of their KOC, Keepsake Ornament Club, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think they could still make themselves relevant, but I think they're going down at the wrong moment.
Yeah. American Greetings is big here in Cleveland, so we don't do Hallmark as much because their headquarters is here. So.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I did. When we were growing up, I mean, Hallmark, you collected the new ornament every year, right? So.
Oh, Danielle's here. Good morning, Danielle. Happy Thanksgiving.
Good morning. So good to see everybody here. There's a lot of people.
Yes.
I thought y'all would be cooking or this and that. So good to see everybody. I'm starting to smell our turkey coming down the stairs.
Isn't that crazy? There's nothing like walking in that house and smelling the turkey cooking.
Yes. And you don't smell it when you're in there cooking it because like I said last night, I kind of prepped all the treats and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't smell it, but I went outside for a minute to take the trash out and came back and I was like, oh, it smells like Thanksgiving. Mona says she's going to heat up her pot pie later.
It is interesting. We all celebrate Thanksgiving different. I'm lucky. I've got my bestie at the Quilt Club is having me to her house today.
Oh, that's nice.
So I'm excited. So I'm going with a couple of other ladies to pick them up and take them. But she was like, can you bring an appetizer? And I was like, yep, I have the perfect appetizer. I found bacon wrapped shrimp at Sam's about a year ago. And I was like, oh, there's nothing better. So that'll be nice. I guess it's not necessarily Thanksgiving themed, but it's it'll help kind of break up all the turkey dressing and everything else, right?
Yeah, definitely. So are you planning on doing a sew day on Christmas as well?
I'm sorry, do what?
Are you planning on doing a sew day on Christmas as well?
I am. So I had been debating about Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, but I think I'm going to do Christmas Day. Nice. And I'm going to do, I am actually going to do it earlier just because I do have more Christmas type plans. And so we're going to do 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Christmas Day.
Oh, great. Okay.
So, but that way we still get to be together with those that can. And just we'll have some giveaways. We got giveaways today.
Oh, fun!
And just have some different things going on.
Yeah. So y'all need to stay tuned. John's gonna have giveaways. That's fun. So Russ said bacon wrap strip. You can't get any further away from kosher. You are not wrong, Russ.
I never even thought about that. Danielle says, ooh, free stuff, you say.
Thank you to the people who are here who have already made this. I know you've made it. So thanks for hanging out with us anyway. I know Ingrid has, and Sherlock Sews has made it.
How long have you had this pattern, Stephanie?
I wrote this a couple of years ago, but I released it last year at my Pennsylvania retreat.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So a little over a year now that it's been out to the public. I write a lot of patterns, but you know, you go, oh, that's not good enough. And I go, okay, just do it. And I finally put it out.
Hey, Becky, thanks for being here this morning. Welcome in. Oh, Mary B wants to know, Stephanie, when the pattern book is coming.
Y'all keep asking me that, and that is the sweetest thing ever. And I'm thinking about it, but it's a lot of work to do a book. It's not just, you have to, I can put a book together with current patterns, but usually you want to have 2 or 3 that have not been published. Plus you have to write all the stories about them and everything. So it's a process, but I am very much considering it, I promise, because I know a lot of you have been asking, which is the sweetest thing ever. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's interesting because when I started reading your instructions, not too long ago, I had some different squares and different things left over. And I thought, you know what, I can make my own pattern. So I literally sat down on a piece of paper and kind of drew out how I thought it was going to work. It worked for John. It was great for John, but it wasn't, I didn't think about 1/4-inch seams. I didn't think about, there's a lot more that goes into pattern making than you realize.
Yeah, there's the design side, right?
Right.
And then there's the tech side.
Yes.
So it's not just let's sit down and draw something and make it.
Yeah, I got it done conceptually, but realized, wow, there's just, and I thought if I had to try to write instructions and try to put, I thought, no, this worked for John because I knew the squares I had, how I kind of, but it was like, it was almost like just cutting, laying them on the floor and saying, okay, let's sew this together. And that's my pattern. It's not easy. I mean, it's a real talent that you have to be able to do this.
Thank you. I like to do it though. It's a good creative outlet for me. I'm not a super artsy person, but pattern writing, because there is so much tech to it, that appeals to my brain.
Oh, okay. So it challenges that other side that needs to be.
It does, yeah. But I start like you. I draw on a piece of paper what my idea, and I actually use graph paper, and then I start putting it in the program with the fabrics and all that stuff, and that's the easy part. Like I can have a pattern drawn in a half hour, but it's the technical writing, because you have to think about, like you were saying, the 1/4 inch seam allowance and what that does to the size of your pieces, you know. So that's why you very rarely will see an 1/8 of an inch measurement, like 3/8 or something like that, in my patterns, because I don't want to have to figure out like the 1/4 inch on one of those 1/8 things. Plus, I don't think they're very fun to cut for most people.
No, because I did the Kona block of the month. And I think the blocks, a lot of them turned out to be like 2 7/8 or 3 7/8, and I was like, yeah, John's not doing 7/8, so we rounded.
Yeah. I don't blame you. If there's ever a pattern, unless the final size has to be like an 1/8, but if it's like, oh, you're gonna make 2 4.5 inch half square triangles, but you're gonna cut the pieces 4 7/8, I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm cutting them 5. Yep.
I can always trim down.
Right. Like whoever came up with that stuff, or that scant 1/4 inch, there's no.
Becky says, I'm going to have to make mine tomorrow. Thank you, Stephanie, for the pattern. I'm anxious to get it done.
My pleasure.
Sherlock So says, I have another one cut out and I'm going to work on it tonight.
Oh, yay.
Steven says, okay, I hate you both. Laugh out loud. Another project for the season. I need this like I need a kick in the head right now.
He's got a lot of projects going.
He says the darn thing is so stinking cute, so I am doing it.
You're welcome, Steven. You know I love you. He just has FOMO. He just, he wants to be like the cool kids.
I tell you what, it's the problem is I'm too ADD. I keep seeing things and it's like, okay, let me grab that. And then I realize I've got one and I'm cutting. I've got one I'm sewing. I've got one in the ironing. And it's like, okay, it gets overwhelming. And I feel like I never get anything done sometimes.
I honestly, and this is 100% honest. There are days where I'm like, why can't I be like those quilters who do one project, work on one project and finish it from start to finish? I'm like, they probably get so much more done, but I can't. Like I have these squirrel moments. I'm like, ooh, another pretty thing. Okay, let me start that, even though I have 10 other things already in process.
Yeah, I like that term, squirrel moment. That's a good term.
Oh, yeah. And recently I started getting into crochet again, which I tried it a while ago. So now I've got these crochet projects all sitting around my house too. Although I have finished some. I finished some what are they called? Amigurumi animals.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I just finished like 3 of them. So there's only one unfinished, but I've got all this crochet stuff all over too now. So but there is a method to my madness. I decided to start those little things so that way when I fly and stuff, I have something to do.
Well, and that's the thing. Like when I watch TV at night, I love to be able to sit down, relax, and so doing the hand stuff like crochet just makes sense to me.
Yes. Well, I was taking cross stitch things when I fly, but I'm starting to have, it's my age, more trouble seeing the holes on the airplane because it's not bright enough.
Right.
So I was like, well, crochet I don't need to see little teeny holes. So
right, Balloona says, I keep telling Stephanie I will help write the book.
Who said that?
Balloonist.
Oh, Mona. Yes. I might have to take you up on that, Mona. She has offered that for years. Bless her heart.
Barb says, I love that Stephanie's pattern is just so easy to read and understand.
Oh, thank you.
Charlotte says, I just love this. Kev Mirth is here, says, hey, Stephen, Bland Designs, the Idiot Quilter, do you have so long scheduled over the holidays?
Hi, Mary. So, John, are you doing Vlogmas this year?
I am not. The last 2 years I've done art scenes for the Christmas boxes. So this year I've got Jenny's.
Oh, yeah.
And it's my 3rd year. I just enjoy it. I mean, it just feels like a gift to me.
Yep.
And so I've got that one. I did keepsake quilting again because last year they did like strawberries and a lot of summer stuff that people didn't like, but I kind of liked that it wasn't all Christmas stuff at Christmas.
Yeah.
So I'm anxious to kind of see what they did this year. And then I do open gate quilts with Monique.
Oh, gotcha. So, yeah.
And I like to separate those postings. So it's like, okay, well, I'm already doing 3 a day for 12 days or so. So it's like to do Vlogmas on top of it just seems.
That's a lot. Yeah. And you work full time. So.
And I work full time.
Yeah. I mean, Vlogmas is a lot for those of us who this is our job. And by the end of it, you're exhausted. So with working full time, I could see where you're like, no, I'm out.
Well, and I thought it was interesting because Sean, I guess he did his in October.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he decided he wasn't doing Vlogmas this year, that he'd do his in October.
Yeah, he did it one year. And with it was one year that he had exchange students and they had things to do. And he just like, okay, this is too much over the season. Which I understand. It's a lot because he works full time too. So.
And I like the idea behind it, but it's like, there's just so much that goes into it. And just to try to think about the content and what you want to talk about, especially every day.
Yeah.
I do Sunday, I consider it Sunday afternoon. More like Sunday evening for a lot of folks.
Yeah.
And, I've had folks go, well, it'd be nice if you could just stay on longer. And I'm like, I hate to tell you guys, an hour and 10 minutes is a long time to talk by yourself, try to sew, try to.
Yes. After about an hour and a half, you're like tired of hearing yourself.
Oh my goodness, how do people actually put up with me that long?
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. See. Mary B says, Stephanie, have you thought about making a holiday seasonal runner pattern series?
Oh. No, but that could be fun.
That could be fun.
Oh, that could be really fun, actually. We could do like a new table runner for each season. I like that idea. Good idea.
I do like that because I like different table runners in different parts of the house. But some seasons or some holidays, it's hard to find stuff.
Yeah.
Christina said the parts are cut, but her youngest dog decided it's playtime, so sewing has to wait.
Oh. Well, there are priorities.
There are. Daphne says she's going to work on hers tonight.
Nice.
Stephen says, no, I don't. I will be with Stephanie at her retreat in Georgia, but I'm having a special Idiot Quilter pop-up sew day, the Christmas edition on Saturday. Becky says she agrees with cutting larger. And I don't know who told me that. Somebody told me that. And it was like, I never thought about, I like to say my quilt, my rules. And then I'm such a rule follower. It's like, well, if the pattern says you have to cut it this way, you have to cut it that way.
You're like me that way.
Danya says she has to run.
Oh, bye. Happy Thanksgiving.
Steven says, never get a 3D printer. That's another rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah.
So interesting enough, I have a very close friend who has 3 3D printers.
Okay.
And so so when we're together, he enjoys playing with his 3D printer, and he likes software in that. So I'm trying to convince him that how much fun he would have learning to run the long arm.
That's right. Most software people like the long arms.
Ingrid says, I love that the trees are in both directions. I want to make a winter themed table runner with blues and whites. And that's what you're working on, is blues and whites.
Blue and gray, yes.
Blue and gray, yep.
Only because here in Ohio, when it's wintertime, it's just gray for 4 months.
I used to work for a company in Akron, Canton, and our director used to go, it's battleship gray here in the winter.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I don't know what that means. And then I got off the plane one time and I was like, yep, now I know what battleship gray is.
Yep. And that's what it is today. It was there yesterday because we're supposed to get snow tonight. So, which will be pretty, and glad we don't have to go anywhere, but it is gray.
Yeah, we're only 74 today, but this weekend we're supposed to be back in the 80s.
Okay. Good morning, Carl.
In here.
Carl will be at the New Year's retreat, so you'll get to meet him, John. He's such a nice guy.
Oh, no kidding. Awesome.
Yeah.
Apparently it's sold out.
It is sold out, and they have people on the waiting list. So that's why they ask people to confirm whether they're coming or not. So it's going to be a great time. And I don't know if you looked at the itinerary that they sent.
I did. The one they just sent the other day.
Yeah, and I noticed that, like, I thought the chocolate was on New Year's Eve, but it's supposedly on New Year's Day now. I'm like, yay, we didn't miss the
chocolate. You can do the death by chocolate like the rest of us.
Not that I need chocolate, but, it's fun.
We all need chocolate. We all need fun here and there.
Lori says, Sherlock says, I have gray skies, but no snow or rain on the way. Yeah, Lori, I think that we're getting it off Lake Erie, so you guys up there in Michigan probably aren't going to get any. We're supposed to get lake effect.
Man, crazy. I just learned about lake effect a few years back.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Didn't know what that was, and then ended up being up there. I was at I think it was Cleveland. I was at the Cleveland airport. The only car they had to rent was like this little Yugo thing.
Oh, gosh.
And I was like, dude, I'm an executive, I travel all the time. They're like, yeah, you can sit here and wait for another car to come in, or you can take this one.
Oh, that's rough, especially in the snow.
Well, and it was beautiful. It was sunshiny, just as clear. And I drove like 5 miles, 8 miles down the interstate, and all of a sudden I hit this wall, and it was like 20 inches of snow. And
that's called the snow belt. Welcome to Cleveland.
Oh my God, I never saw it. My boss kept telling me, we told you about lake effect snow. And I'm like, I'm from the South. We don't have lake effect snow.
Yep.
Like, y'all crazy. I can't imagine.
Here's what I have so far. I got 2 of my trees done.
How cute is that?
I love it. I love that I'm going to have a wintry one.
I do too, because, it's funny because we do so much Christmas stuff, but it's like we still want you still need stuff like January, February, and it's fine to say you got Valentine's and some other things, but wintry stuff is fun to have out too.
It is. It is. And I love wintry stuff because the colors, of course, appeal to me. So I'm excited. Yay. Thank you, Mary. If you don't mind me saying, if you guys are a part of my private Facebook group, if you're working on this, post some pictures. I'd love to see, because I know y'all have different fabric choices than me. So.
No, I think that's great. And I appreciate that you posted this on your blog and everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I felt so bad because the Etsy is having issues with their codes. So the code wasn't working. I was like, what can I do? Okay, put it on the blog. That's just the easiest way. I probably should have just done that in the first place, but it is what it is. I think last I checked, there was like 57 people who downloaded it. So
no way.
Yeah. So there should be a lot of these out there, which is fun.
No, and you said you enjoy seeing what people do because you don't think, you have one picture in your mind. Of course, you used one fabric to do yours, and then it's fun to see what other people have done.
Oh, absolutely. I always, when I design patterns, a lot of times I design them with a certain fabric in mind. I usually don't, sometimes I do, but I usually don't just draw a pattern. I usually see a fabric and I'm like, ooh, that needs a pattern. And I get inspired by the fabric. So it's really fun for me to see other people's vision of my patterns in a different color. And they're always like so stunning. I'm like, I wouldn't have thought to put those colors together, but they're great. Especially Carl, who's here. He always uses completely different colors than I would ever use, but his stuff turns out so amazing.
It is funny how we all have a different eye, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I love that.
I have to say sometimes I like buying kits and it's like, oh my goodness, I would have never bought that. I would have never picked those fabrics. And then I get it done and I'm like, that made so much sense. Like that sometimes you just have to trust, right?
Yes. Yes.
Russ just texts me and says, I'm backstage if you're not paying attention. And I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I knew he's coming in at some point. Julie Kuhn is here. She said she has the pattern of fabrics ready. She's going to sew after dinner, but she wanted to thank me and also thank you, John, for hosting this.
No, thanks for being here today.
Merry Thanksgiving, y'all.
Hi. How are you?
Giving.
I'm slowly feeling better now that I got the meds that I needed. Okay, quickly feeling better.
Good.
And I need to, be as good as I can by 3:00.
I know. I'm so jellyfish.
Wait a minute, what's 3:00? I watched your vlog and that. How did I miss 3:00?
Because 3:00 didn't get scheduled until yesterday.
Okay.
Going to see Wicked.
Yay.
No, the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, we have the tour group is coming through.
I think the tour group may have just been through here recently.
Oh, they're gonna have it on stage there, huh? That'll be nice.
But yeah, I'm all excited. It's funny because I was in here on sewing with Stephanie and Steven, and David sends me a text of a picture saying, well, earlier I had said, when are we planning on doing Wicked? And he's like, well, that's tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, but seats are selling out quickly. So he sends me a text yesterday with a screenshot that he purchased tickets. And I walk on to the other room where he's working on long arm and I said, did you really mean 11 p.m.? Oh. And the words that came out of his mouth. He fixed it, and now we are going at 3 p.m. So
I was gonna say, I don't think any of us are 11 p.m. moviegoers anymore.
Not for an almost 3-hour movie.
Right.
Because that would be done at 2 a.m. No. Although my sister thought that we would have gone to see Wicked and then went Black Friday shopping. And I'm like, no, I'm too old for that now, too.
I miss Black Friday, though. Can I tell you? I used to love
I miss when it was good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not anymore. It's not like it used to be.
Yeah.
No, we would get up at 4 a.m, have a donut or something and go stand in line and freeze to death. But the best thing was Thanksgiving Day, and we put all the ads on the floor and took a magic marker and circled what store and made a list, and we had to go here first to get there. And I do appreciate my online shopping now.
People are saying hi to you, Russ, and they're glad to see you.
Hi, everybuds.
And Sherlock says you're so welcome for the pattern. I'm glad that your daughter's finding it easy to sew. So, well, now that Russ is here, guys, I'm going to have to tag out because I've got to get the rest of my Thanksgiving meal going. But I will be in the chat because I can listen while I'm cooking. That'll keep me sane. Thank you so much, John, for having me. And it's been really fun, like collabing with you. So hopefully we get to do it again.
Amen. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, Stephanie. Happy Thanksgiving.
You too. Have fun at Wicked.
Oh, I'll let you know all the fun.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Russ,
I know you're working on Stephanie's pattern. I'm working on 10-minute table runners.
Are you really? So you're doing a table runner, you're just not doing Stephanie's table runner.
Yeah. I think I've mentioned a handful of times my boss is retiring at the end of the year.
Yep.
And she's a huge University of South Carolina Gamecocks fan.
Oh,
and I found this fabric at the fabric shop the other day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
I like that.
I'm going to make her a table runner out of that. And I made my sister a bunch of table runners last year for Christmas. And she said she didn't need a Christmas table runner, so she didn't get it to the Christmas table runner. And then she decided afterwards she needs a Christmas table runner. So I'm making her a Christmas table runner from Grinch fabric.
Oh, no. I love the Grinch. You know that.
So we will see how far I get because 10-minute table runners take me about 45 minutes. I never understood that wibbly wobbly tiny wimey problem, but I just realized we're missing the parade.
We are missing the parade, but I tell you what, I tried to watch it last year and I was so disappointed because they most of the time they were talking. And they cut over to show like one of the Broadway things, and they'd cut to the parade for like 2 minutes and show their little performance, and then they go back to talking. I'm like, okay, I don't want to hear you. I want to see the parade.
Exactly.
Somehow they missed that point.
Although I don't know what level of parade I could watch this year because I quit my Peacock subscription. I wasn't watching it enough, so I just said whatever. And I have the antenna, so I could probably watch it on the antenna, but that cuts in and out every now and then because it's a VHF channel instead of UHF channel.
No, and I like I have Paramount because I am a Walmart subscriber. So I do Paramount a lot. I had Peacock at one point for some reason, but I did drop it. I've tried to cut back a lot. It seems like I don't watch YouTube as much as I should, so I'm not keeping up. And then it's like
it's a problem with so much content.
It is. So much
Although I discovered an awesome new television show or new show yesterday that's on Max. A coworker of mine told me about it. It's in the style of the 1980s and early 90s competition shows, so like American Gladiators and that.
Right.
It is called Humans versus Hamsters.
Oh, I saw the preview for that.
I've watched 3 episodes of it, and it is so much fun.
Is it?
I mean, I know there's a lot of editing that's going on in it and stuff like that, and I'm okay with it. But watching it, it has been so much fun watching it. Spoiler alert, the hamsters are awesome.
No, I saw. It's funny. I just literally saw a preview to that the other day, and I thought that looks like a fun show.
Yeah, I hadn't seen anything about it, and we were in our team meeting yesterday, and I don't know how we got onto. Oh, it started with the hawk that I saw in my backyard.
Yep.
And then somehow we got onto something else, and then my coworkers started talking about humans versus hamsters. And then I brought up the whole Mark Rober squirrel obstacle course, because that's an awesome set of videos too on YouTube.
All right, you know what? We need to do a giveaway. I haven't done the first giveaway.
You're late on your giveaway.
I got 4. So the first one is fat quarters, and they are
those are some awesome looking fat quarters.
Yeah, so Christmas lights, the red truck, trees, holly, and plaid. So if you would, in the chat, put !FAT, F-A-T. And we'll wait a couple of minutes for everyone to do that, and we'll do the first giveaway.
What if you type in !big boned?
I have a feeling today there'll be some fatty things happening.
I am all for the Thanksgiving festivities.
So are you cooking or doing anything special?
Absolutely not. Normally, I go to see friends and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the past couple of years, they've been out of town for Thanksgiving. So I've just stuck at home. David is in town this year, so we're going to the Waffle House for our Thanksgiving meal.
You do like the Waffle House, don't you?
Well, they are really awesome. And if they're being forced to work, which I'm going to tell you from experience, they're being forced to work, I'm going to help support them and make sure that they get some decent tips. Because
no, I understand.
Second shift at Waffle House, even on Thanksgiving, still doesn't do that much of business. So I'm like, if I can help them out just a little bit, then they're going to have that little bit better of a Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Daphne, it's !FAT, F-A-T. So we'll take about 30 seconds. And Joydy just joined.
Hey, Joydy.
Joydy may have been here. I just now
just in time to say !FAT.
!FAT. Stephanie says, Sarah says the waffles are so good because they have crack in.
I have seen the waffles made. I do know what secret ingredients are in there.
Oh.
I'm not going to tell them on the video, but I will tell you it's white stuff.
My daughter said that Chick-fil-A puts crack in their sandwiches.
I mean, there's that too.
She worked there 5 years, and she goes, Dad, like, we'd have people that came every day, like, you know, because she was a cashier.
Well, every day but Sunday.
Yeah, and she goes, and then they come in on Saturday and order extra so they can get through the week. You know, it's like, oh my goodness.
There was a point in our previous office building, we had a Chick-fil-A downstairs, and I would go every morning that I was in the office for breakfast.
Crazy. All right, so let's do the drawing. Let's see who Nightbot selects. Katrina.
Yay, Katrina. Congratulations.
So, Katrina, if you would just send an email to John@guyscraft2.com, and I will get those mailed out this week. I am in the park home this morning. Then I'm headed back to the valley this afternoon, and having dinner with my bestie from the quilt club. She's cooking for a few of us and having us over. So
that's awesome.
It is. I am so excited because last year I had 14 and I just did not want to do it this year. So I just have to get back to the valley to make that happen after the live today.
And you got to pick up your non-kosher appetizer.
Yes, right. Oh, I tell you what, it's just amazing. Never even thought about that. And I never thought about having shrimp with turkey and everything else, right? It doesn't matter. When you put bacon on it, it just...
I mean, yeah, bacon makes everything better. We have a neighborhood progressive dinner like in early December for the Christmas holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's potluck with the exception that the homeowners association pays for the main dish.
Oh, okay.
And the past couple of years, the folks that have hosted the main dish bought Maggiano's. And I'm like, I'm not going because Maggiano's pasta does not go well with green bean casserole and sausage balls and the other stuff that people make that are Christmassy. And this year when the invite came out, I texted the main course house and I said, what are you catering this year? And she says, ham. I've been bullied too much. I was like, okay, I'll join this time.
Well, yeah, I mean, because you've got honey baked ham, you've got Boston it's like, I like Maggiano's, but not for that type of potluck, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, yeah, it is good, but you don't want, if people are bringing Christmas foods, that doesn't go well with pasta. Now, you can bring pasta as like a side dish or something.
Right.
I mean, I've gone to friends and the wife her family is Korean, and they have like kimchi and pot stickers and stuff like that. And I will totally enjoy that as side and stuff, but they still have, the turkey for Thanksgiving or ham for Christmas. It was amusing the first year that I was there. I grabbed some kimchi and stuff, and they were looking at me. I was like, I know what this is. The white boy can have kimchi. But I know that they may not have realized. Like, I understand the reasons why they were concerned. It was some good kimchi too. It was homemade.
Ooh. But
yeah, I understood the reasons for their concern. But I was like, yeah, I know what this is. I'm happy this is going to be good.
Yeah, it's so I've got a special friend that will be back on Saturday. So we are doing a small Thanksgiving, what I consider small, on Sunday. And I've bought a turkey breast, and I found it's a crock pot recipe that you make with the whole jellied cranberry sauce in that.
Oh.
It's supposed to really be good. So, because I still like having like my own turkey in that. So I'm doing turkey and dressing and several sides, but one of the sides I have to have is Paula Deen mac and cheese. It's just not a holiday without Paula Deen.
We were watching YouTube the other day, and there was a video suggestion of Dollar Tree Thanksgiving for $20. And basically everything was purchased from the Dollar Tree. Like the only thing that she said did not count was oil, salt, and pepper, because those are general pantry staples.
Right.
And yeah, it's looking at what she made, I felt my arteries clogged because of all the salt and stuff. And there was it was canned turkey, and it was very little of it. She basically made what she called Thanksgiving shepherd's pie. It looked decent, but like I'm like, it's not a whole Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah, it's well, just like Paula Dean's recipe calls for 2 sticks of butter in this mac and cheese, and it's like, girlfriend, it would be swimming in grease if I actually put 2 sticks in there. It's like, just, and she's got some great recipes in that. And I love going to Broadway at the beach. When we go to Myrtle Beach every year, and we go to her restaurant. We don't eat there. I go in to buy the, it's butter y'all, and put a little Southern in your mouth, and was the apron that I bought this year. Kind of liked the way that I liked that saying. I thought that was cute. So she has some interesting stuff in her gift shop.
I can imagine.
And I've been to, I can't think of what this one in Savannah's called. That's her original restaurant. I've been there.
Yeah, I've not been to Savannah, so I don't have enough to think on what it could be.
You need to go to Savannah and see the moss on the trees, and go for when they turn the Savannah River green for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, that sounds like work.
I like Savannah. I like their riverfront. They've got a really cool riverfront.
I've had friends say, come to Savannah, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, no, I would love to, but it's so much work scheduling sitters and everything else that I'm like,
that's right.
Unless I know that it's going to be like a super awesome trip, or I have certain things planned, it's like, it's too much work to try to schedule everybody.
Yep. Does make a difference when you got babies. Charlotte says, hey, Russ, what's the difference between a dad joke and a bad joke?
And I responded in the chat, a dad joke is a parent. And then she responded later that it's one letter. And I liked her answer. Like that was hysterical.
Yeah, you said you're not doing dad jokes on your Vlogmas this year.
I am not. I have something different going on. You're going to have to use your mind a little bit, but I think that they're going to be fun.
It is always fun. You are always fun. You always have something interesting on your channel.
I know my videos are going to be fairly short this year because, like, the past couple of years I've done things like what are my favorite blanks, or certain Christmas memories, or talking about various aspects. And I'm like, I've already done those. My answers aren't going to change. And, my videos last year aren't that long. So if you want to know all of that stuff, you can go watch last year's Vlogmas along with this year's Vlogmas. Don't watch the previous year's Vlogmas. Those are bad videos.
Some of the most fun to watch. It's amazing what randomly pops up sometimes on the YouTube.
Oh, the previous year's Vlogmas was my first year, and some of those videos are bad. A friend of mine, we reconnected about a year and a half ago. The one that I'm making the t-shirt quilt for. And when he found out that I had a YouTube video channel, he went back, and then I'm getting random texts from him as he's catching up my backlog. And like, he was commenting about some of my videos with like when I was talking about my favorite Christmas commercials, and he's like, if you did not include that Folgers commercial, I would have disowned you.
Jen says, even though I'm alone, I'm doing a bird for the leftovers and the soup. I'm also doing dressing, creamed onions, homemade cranberry sauce, so I won't have to cook for a week. Amen. To me, that's the best thing about Thanksgiving. That's why I wanted to still do a turkey and some dishes, even though I'm doing it Sunday, is because I like the leftovers for a few days.
I am not a fan of leftovers, and I'm not a fan of turkey, so Thanksgiving is mostly lost on me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I don't like leftovers. Normally, I don't eat leftovers except like chili, lasagna, something like that. But I do like my Thanksgiving leftovers.
One year, Mom made 3 different turkeys. She did a smoked turkey, a baked turkey, and a fried turkey. Oh. So we had 3 turkeys and leftovers for years. And we're like, no, I'm never eating turkey again.
I've never had fried turkey.
It is so good. Like, if somebody says that they are making fried turkey, I will accept a Thanksgiving invite there. If it's any other turkey, I'll still accept the invite, but I will probably not eat the turkey. Green bean casserole is the superior Thanksgiving dish. I will fight you on that one.
Oh, wow. See, mine is corn pudding.
The last time that I visited my sister for Thanksgiving, she made 2 things of green bean casserole because she's like, okay, one of this is for me and Ross. The other one is for everybody else.
Judy's here. She says, hi, John and Russ.
Hi, Judy.
Judy says, sounds good, Jen. I'm making a crock pot turkey breast for the first time, keeping fingers crossed. Oh, Stephanie says, I just made the green bean casserole, Russ.
I have friends who always ask me, are you going up to visit your family for Thanksgiving again? And I'm like, no, it could snow.
Yeah.
Because there was one year I was up there and it snowed around Thanksgiving. And I was like, no. I mean, it was only like dusting and stuff, but I was like, this is why I moved to the South.
Yes. I mean, that's why I was so fortunate. So I knew I needed to come to the park home and close up for the winter, right? So I get here Tuesday night after work, realizing that I've left the air conditioning on, which at this time of the year up here does no good. So I opened the door. It was 45 degrees in here.
Don't you have a thermostat to turn on your air conditioning?
I don't have the Wi-Fi set up yet.
So your air conditioning is constantly running, or
no? So it wasn't running.
So cold up there.
No, it's just that cold up here. Okay. So yeah. So the AC, no, because my electric bill was like $20 this month.
Oh, okay.
But it took like 3 hours to get the temperature to a livable.
Because the last couple of days I've been having as many windows and doors open as I could.
Yeah, you all really kind of had a warm spurt come through, didn't you?
A little bit. Today, I think we've already hit our high. We got a cold front coming through that it's going to be cooler, but that also means windows open to kind of cool down the house a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, we're supposed to be 74 today, but then we're supposed to be in the 80s all weekend.
When David was packing for here, he did not like he's been looking at the weather. He's like, I have no idea what the weather is going to be. I've had to pack for 3 different climates. I was like, that sounds like, this time of year. Normally, or actually I would say the past 5 or 6 years, it's been in the 70s on Thanksgiving.
I know the first year we moved from Kentucky to South Carolina, I was talking to family on Thanksgiving, and I was like, well, we're in the backyard playing football and, with the kids and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, I hope you have enough sense to have them bundled up and, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's 76 here. We're still wearing shorts. I hate to tell you.
Yeah.
EBMK says green bean casserole for the win.
Yes.
Steven says, is corn pudding what we would call Canada creamed corn? If so, I love that. No, corn pudding is corn pudding. It's made out of whole corn. You make a roux to go with it. And then it's a cream sauce. So it actually cooks up thick. You have to cook it in a water bath. And you literally kind of slice it.
That sounds interesting. I've not had that before. Because we just normally have cream corn whenever we make corn on Thanksgiving.
Oh, no. Yeah, this is actually the recipe came from Claudia Sanders, which is Colonel Sanders' wife.
Oh.
He opened one formal sit-down restaurant in her name after he sold everything to John Y. Brown. I was actually a waiter there in high school.
Oh.
And so, but that's where I got the recipe, and I don't know, it's still my favorite dish to this day. And I only get it like Christmas,
right,
and maybe Easter. Well, I don't even get it Easter anymore. I fly to Virginia to do Easter with my daughter, and my daughter doesn't make it because it's too much work, she says. I would think her daddy's worth it, but
How rude.
Kathy says, love me some corn pudding too. BBMK says crockpot turkey is good. Oh, Katrina says, I made my green bean casserole with bacon and cream of bacon soup instead of cream of mushroom.
That sounds amazing.
That does. It sounds really, I never even thought, well, I didn't even know they had cream of bacon soup.
I saw cream of bacon soup for the first time like 2 years ago. And I was like, this sounds like that would be great anytime cream mushroom soup is made. Because I have a macaroni and cheese recipe that I make with cream of mushroom soup. Oh. And the first thing that I thought was, that would be good with cream of bacon soup. I don't make cream bean casserole, so I didn't even think about replacing the cream bean casserole with that.
Because the problem is, you got to watch your bacon. Some of it gets fatty, greasy in that. But if you're using that, it wouldn't be.
Right. I mean, I am a little particular with my bacon.
I like thick cut bacon.
I'm even particular at Waffle House as to who's cooking the bacon, whether it's going to be good or not. Because we know that there's certain people that are Waffle House that were like, okay, you can cook good bacon. And then like there was one time we were there and we said, okay, we see that so-and-so is on the meats right now. Can Alice cook our bacon, please?
But you know what you like, right? I mean,
Alice was good at cooking bacon. We haven't seen her in a while, so hopefully she's gone on to bigger and better things. But yeah, we knew who was good. And then we had one, when I was waiting tables at Waffle House, we had one customer who would want floppy bacon. That's the word I can say. He used an inappropriate word, but he wanted floppy bacon. I'm like, that's not properly cooked though.
I have a friend, and that's what they like. They basically want the bacon warmed up, and it's like, no, you're still eating all the. No, doesn't work for me.
Monday we were at Publix, and their pub sub for the week was their turkey cranberry sub, which is a really good sub. It also has bacon on it.
Really?
Oh yeah, and the person making the sub she gets everything ready and she goes to start toasting it. I was like, no, I don't want my sub toasted. So she takes it off and she brings it over. I was like, no, I need the bacon cooked because it's par cooked bacon that they have back there. But I don't want my sub toasted. So just, toast the bacon so that it's, not raw.
Yeah, I like when I go, every now and then I'll go to Subway and I like a tuna sub, but I want the bread toasted. And they want to put the tuna on and stick it in the oven. I'm like,
oh, no.
Who would want hot tuna? It's like, come on.
I had one person at Subway teach me. He's like, okay, if you want it toasted, like depending on the sandwich, if you want certain things toasted, do it this way and you'll get better flavor. And I was like, I'll try you out. And I came back a couple of days later and I said, okay, you're good. Make me another sub.
We had, the other day, we had a team lunch and they ordered Jimmy John's. It's the first time I've had Jimmy John's, I think, in 2 or 3 years. I don't dislike them, but and we all got our. My office is literally across the street to the Phoenix Zoo, and the Phoenix Zoo gives us free access during the day. If we show our badge, we get in for free.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we all walked over to the Phoenix Zoo with our little box lunch and had lunch there. But first time I've had Jimmy John's, I couldn't tell you when. Denise says, I've never seen cream of bacon soup. Who makes that? I assume it's Campbell's, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, Campbell's makes all the cream of something soups.
I was going to say. Mary B says, Stephanie, are there specific pressing instructions for this pattern? Didn't see any. I didn't see any pressing instructions. Mine's going together pretty simple. Oh, BBMK says, Katrina, they don't sell the cream of bacon soup here in Phoenix.
Oh.
Interesting. You know what else they don't sell? They don't sell Duke's mayonnaise anymore. I was so excited a couple of years ago because I found Duke's at our Fry's grocery. All the groceries near me, none of them carry Duke's anymore. And everybody's like, I don't understand what the big deal is. And I thought that's because you're not Southern. But if it's got to be mayonnaise, it's got to be Duke's. I mean, that's...
When I first moved to Massachusetts, for some reason, like growing up, we didn't know that it was mayonnaise. We just knew it was Duke's. Like it was Duke's.
Yeah.
Or that nasty Miracle Whip. And like I moved to Massachusetts, I was like, I need some Duke's. And they were like, what's Duke's? And finally, after a handful of years, they've started carrying it up there. So my sister's been happy. But it was very frustrating the first few years, or all my years up there, because I'm like, I have to eat this other mayonnaise.
And it's just nasty. It's not it's just not the same. I mean, if you were brought up on Duke's, I don't know what it is. Sweet Granny says she makes green bean casserole all year long, Russ.
Oh. Is that even legal? Okay, I need to step over to my pressing area.
Not a problem. Kathy says, I love the corn pudding recipe from Food Wishes channel. I wish I use the corn I grow and freeze. Oh, can you imagine having fresh vegetables?
Food Wishes has some fun recipes.
I've never heard of the channel.
His name is John as well.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
There's a few of us floating around. Katrina says, I have to order them. Once they started carrying it, they've kept it on the shelf. I send it. I'll send my care packages of it on Amazon. Yeah. We used to have a local grocery back in Virginia. And if you went up and asked the manager for something that wasn't there, if it was available and he could get it, he would get it stocked in for you and then try to see if it would sell well enough for other people. And it was amazing. Some of the
One thing that I did not realize was a regional thing, New England style hot dog buns.
Oh yeah, I guess, because I've never heard of.
They're split along the top instead of the side.
No, I saw those not too long ago, and I thought, well, what the hell did the machine screw up? Because then you're not supposed to cut the bun on the top.
You cut the bun on the top, and it makes better lobster rolls. So that's probably why they have it New England style. But they're done for hot dogs as well.
I've seen those. I had no idea that was
like up north. They're just hot dog buns, but I've seen them here a couple times, and they're called New England style. I'm like, it's just hot dog buns.
Well, we were talking at work the other day about Philly cheesesteaks because we had someone that just went to Philly. They were talking about, I got a real Philly cheesesteak and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, see, I don't like Philly cheesesteaks because I don't like Cheese Whiz. And so a real Philly cheesesteak is made with Cheese Whiz. Yeah, I don't do the cheese in the can either.
Stephen will say more for him.
Stephen's been on here today. Mom and Pop Quilt Shop is here, says hello, hello. Denise says shops have to make fabric move, and you can always find good fabric marked down. Don't forget those shops. They offer a lot for quilters. They absolutely do. I try to shop my local store as much as possible. I will admit I did get on the big box store this morning because I ordered me a 120-inch by 30-yard roll of batting because I cannot beat their price for batting. Especially
a giant box of batting arrived here the other day too. So
yeah, but
I wasn't involved in that one.
Oh, I heard that story. Somebody said if I hadn't spent so much money on the puppies, I was going to buy the whole thing. So the other one didn't get it. See, I watch. Kevin Earth says, I would like bacon soup in my mac and cheese because I think mac and cheese is bland. Mary B says, that's what you call a tuna melt. Yeah, see, I don't want hot tuna. Oh, Jody says, hot tuna and cheese on rye is delicious.
And Stephen is calling out your blasphemy.
Oh, wait a minute. I haven't got that far down. Oh, Charlotte says the pattern does say press out. See, I'm just so used to pressing everything anyways. I don't pay attention to, because I can't stand not to iron every step of the process. Katrina says, Amazon sells cream of bacon. That's where I get it. Yeah, BBMK says in Phoenix, I think Duke's only lasted about a year here.
Y'all apparently don't know all of the good mayo.
We just haven't. It's all them northerners that moved down here.
Yeah, that is true. The snowbirds.
If it was from Minnesota or Wisconsin, we'd have plenty of it. PPMK says, if you want to know what's nasty, it's peanut butter and Miracle Whip that her husband eats.
That doesn't... I do not like Miracle Whip. It is horrible. It's disgusting. I don't know why people like it.
Yes. We were not allowed to have Miracle Whip in my house growing up. I didn't know what Miracle Whip was until I think I moved out of the house. Oh, Mom and Pop says a real cheesesteak is provolone.
No, well, okay. A real cheesesteak is provolone, but a real Philly cheesesteak is
Cheese whiz.
Cheese whiz.
Oh, here, Stephen is still here and bit your tongue about spray cheese. It's the best thing since sliced bread. I've just never, I've had it. I'm just not, oh, you know what I did the other day? And I don't know that I'm doing this anymore, Mr. Russ. I don't eat out hardly at all anymore. And I decided to treat myself because I had to work late. And I didn't get home to almost 7. And I thought, you know what? It's fine. You can stop and go through the drive-through at Filiberto's and just get you chicken nachos with a Diet Coke. And when the girl told me it was $21, I was like, yeah, I'm not paying $18 for chicken nachos again.
Oh.
$18 for their nachos.
I've only gone to Filiberto's for breakfast, so I only know their like breakfast burrito prices.
It's just everything's gotten so high.
Yeah.
Oh, you opened up a big debate.
Uh-oh.
Steven says Miracle Whip is the spread of the gods. Charlotte says Miracle Whip is just wrong. Oh, Stephanie heard Filiberto's. That doesn't. Oh, Jordy said the only way she ever had a Philly cheesesteak was with Cheese Whiz.
Yeah, because that's the Philly way. And
what did she say? She said, I ever had a Philly cheesesteak made with Cheese Whiz. It was always provolone.
Then it wasn't a Philly cheesesteak. It was just a cheesesteak.
That's what I thought. Because we have a place here in Phoenix that oh yeah, she said I never had one made with Cheese Whiz. We have a place here in Phoenix that does Philly cheesesteaks, and they do it with provolone. And I was like, no, I worked in Philly. I know Philadelphians say a real Philly is Cheese Whiz stuff.
It's just people don't associate the word cheesesteak without the word Philly. It's also like when they say a chicken cheesesteak, and I'm like, you can't have a chicken cheesesteak. Steak is beef, chicken is not.
Mm-mm.
And you're like, I haven't thought about that one either.
Well, see, and that's what's funny. The restaurant that I go to, I can't think of the name of it. But I go because I like their cheesesteak, but I get it with chicken.
Uh-huh.
Just funny how regional our food is, more so than we would like to think.
Yeah. Moved to Massachusetts. I tried to order grits. Waitress said, "What's a grit?" And I said, "Grit singular is the roughness of sandpaper. Grits plural is an awesome food."
I like. I never really ate avocado until I moved out here.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've had guacamole here and there and all that, but you just didn't find avocado as prevalent on sandwiches and that.
Well, avocado is a very new thing with the young generation. So that might be why. But I
do enjoy it. I do like it. Goodness.
It's like saying, you know, the young generation doesn't like mayonnaise. I'm like, they just put garlic in it and call it aioli. It's still mayonnaise.
Well, let me tell you, my granddaughter, who's only 7 or 8, As long as you squirt Chick-fil-A sauce on it, she'll eat anything. That's nothing but mayonnaise.
Chick-fil-A sauce is not nothing but mayonnaise. Chick-fil-A sauce is got several ingredients. Mayonnaise may not even be one of them. It probably is, but
yeah, I was gonna say I think mayonnaise is the base that they make it with. And it must be like a barbecue sauce that's in there.
I mean, the initial rumors was it was a mixture of all of their sauces, so ranch and honey mustard and that. But I'm like, it doesn't quite feel that way. It feels like it's got the it's probably like a buttermilk base with just a bunch of seasonings in it. Almost like the barbecue sauce seasonings.
I do like Chick-fil-A sauce. I don't eat Chick-fil-A very often, but I do like.
They do have a really their sauce is really good. I'll order that for my fries to dip in because I'm not a ketchup fan.
Yeah, I actually ordered a jar of it from Walmart not too long ago on my last grocery order. No. Judy says if I can't get Duke's, then she'll go to Hellman's. Kevmar says Hellman's all
Blue
the way.
Bonnet. Blue Bonnet is a better mayonnaise than it's Duke's than Blue Bonnet for me. But
I don't have Blue Bonnet either.
There was a YouTube channel that did blind taste tests of the mayonnaises, and he was like, if Duke's doesn't win, I'm disowned. And he picked Blue Bonnet, and said, I think it's an Alabama brand, and it is a really good brand of mayonnaise as well.
Huh. Yeah, our choice is Kraft or Best Foods, and I've had Best Foods, and it is not the best. Nope, still not Duke's. And the problem is, I would order it, but half the year we can't ship anything like that here.
Right.
I guess next year when I go to the beach, I'm going to have to run to the grocery and buy a couple of jars and put it in my carry-on coming home.
Smuggle it in.
Now, wonder if TSA would let me have 2 jars of mayonnaise.
I would get that passed by documentation from them because I don't know if that counts as a liquid or not.
I don't either. That's what I was just thinking because
you may have to check it.
And the problem is if I do that and put it under the plane in the heat and that, it may not be any better.
Yeah. So I would call TSA and say, hey, before I buy this, you can even just ask them on your way in, when you check your or go through TSA in Phoenix, heading out there, say, okay, I got a question. This is going to sound really strange. Can I do this? And understandably, their TSA, you can't say is going to give you the same answer as the other TSA, but you can hopefully get this is as close of a proper answer as you can.
Yeah, I'm flying out next week. I may try to hopefully think about it and ask one of them. Charlotte says her grandson agrees with Stephen. Spray cheese and Miracle Whip all the way.
Now, the spray cheese is good. I will give that.
Oh, Kevmar says Freddy's has hot dogs that the buns are cut on the top.
I haven't been to Freddy's yet. There's one up by one of my local quilt shops, and I've seen it a few times, but I'm like, I haven't had a chance to go in.
Kathy says that she's getting hungry and it's time to get dressed for and gather the fixins. Happy Thanksgiving, Kathy. Thanks for being here today. Oh, Stephanie says, I think you're better off shipping it. I think TSA would take it.
Yeah.
I do too. So crazy. You remember when we were just able to get on an airplane?
I remember when you could have your family meet you at the gate.
Yeah.
To pick you up. Mom was terrified when she flew here however many years ago, because she's like, how am I going to get from the gate to baggage? I'm like, okay, there's only one direction that there's multiple directions you can go, but you can follow everybody else there. And there's a people mover. One of the people movers says that it's going to other gates. One says it's going to baggage claim. When everybody gets off, you've got to get off.
Yeah, it's much different flying now than it used to be. All right, let's do another giveaway.
Woohoo!
Still got 3 to go. So I have the Quilt Builder card deck. This one is actually set number 3.
Oh, those are fun.
So I thought that would be cool. So these are quick and easy. So if you would put exclamation point box, B-O-X. Box.
As in boxing. Or, Canadians' favorite holiday, Boxing Day.
Yeah, that's always interesting to me. So they've already had their Thanksgiving. So I guess in Canada today would be just a normal day.
We have folks in Poland, UK, India, Asia. It's just an ordinary day for them as well. So
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but then
although
again,
they all do like our Black Friday.
I was gonna say they probably think that we are crazy because, like in India, they celebrate Diwali and we don't.
Oh yeah. Well, it's things you don't think about. I remember, years ago there was a joke that does Britain, England have 4th of July?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
It comes after the 3rd.
Yep. Just like, yeah. But, it's just funny. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, this is truly an American holiday.
I like to, on 4th of July, send out my happy treason day, you peasants. But it doesn't work anymore because I have the one with the Union Jack on the back, but I also had one with the Queen on it. And I'm like, I'm not going to put one with what's his face on it. No.
Well, you could always put the new Queen on it.
Yeah, she hasn't been crowned yet.
Yeah. She wasn't supposed to get the title Queen either. It was supposed to be Queen something, right?
Yeah, well, she's a in name only queen, basically.
Right.
So, yeah, because she has no goods with it. Nobody cares about her.
Mm-mm. All right, let's see who won the box. Oh, consort. Joy
That's
says,
the word.
Yeah, I couldn't think of it. All right, let's see what Nightbot does. Jean E is the winner.
Woohoo!
Congrats, Miss Jean. If you would send an email to john@guyscraft2.com and with your address and that, and in the subject put box, just so I remember. And I will get those, get the gifts out this weekend, hopefully. Yeah, did you watch The Queen on the series on Netflix?
No. Spoiler alert, I don't have a Netflix account.
No! Oh my gosh.
David has one, so when he's here, I can watch if there's something that I want to watch, but usually there's not.
Yeah, I probably Netflix is my go-to more than any of them. Although I did like the series that was on, I think it was Max, HBO, because I like all of those turn of the century shows. Because I liked Bridgerton, and then there was another one that was based in New York, and I think that was on HBO. So I get very tuned into those. Mary B says The Crown is what you mean. Yes, The Crown. I watched The Crown up until it was really, I thought, very interesting on how Queen Elizabeth became queen, because I think she was in Africa when her dad died and all that. So that piece of it was really interesting. But then I watched up until the end of like season 5 when Charles and they were getting divorced or up to that. And that's when the season broke. And I just never got back into it. I tried to watch it the next time it came out, and it just wasn't the same to me.
Yeah, those shows, I'm like, eh. My sister is very much a royal, so if she hasn't watched it, she would be interested.
I think the series is now done completely, I think. But yeah, and the problem is you watch it thinking that you're learning a lot about the way things work and blah blah blah, and then you realize, yeah, that's
it's all dramatized.
Yeah, half of it's not. Yeah, someone's opinion about this is what happened with it's like, oh, okay. So is your theater for today? Has that got stadium seating and all surround sound?
It has the recliners. And it was funny because as I was looking at seats yesterday for today, and there were two sets of people who purchased seats on the inside of because recliner seats are basically pairs. So they bought the seats on the inside, probably hoping that people will not be purchasing the outside seats. And I'm like, 1, that's rude. 2, that's genius.
Yeah. It's amazing the creativity people come up with to make sure we don't have to be social with someone next to us.
Right.
I had a AMC membership for a while, and we were doing 2 and 3 movies a week. And during COVID, Phoenix theaters only shut down for 6 weeks or maybe 2 months, and started going back. And there were many movies for probably 2 months that we were the only one in the entire theater.
Wow.
Because people would go, I can't believe you feel safe. I'm like, safer now than I ever was. Like, the only thing I worry about is someone coming in and mugging me, because there's no one in here. I mean, we were the only ones watching the movie. God, that seems like a lifetime ago now, doesn't it?
Definitely. But it also, and like, how did we go into the office 5 days a week back then?
Oh my gosh, right? I can't imagine. I mean, when I got my promotion and they told me I had to come 3 days a week instead of 2, I was like, not sure I want that. Tell me how much it is again.
Right.
Oh. It's the retirement that gets you. It's like, oh, but that goes on your retirement for the next few years. I'm like, okay. It's all good though. So have you been, I saw your video about the block of the month with your quilt shop. I bet they're excited to be expanding online like that.
Well, they are not, because their program is only available to local people.
Right.
But like what I've been giving folks is you can purchase it from any quilt shop out there, because the shop that I go to, they don't have an online presence for some reason.
No kidding.
So even with me talking about that, which is why I don't talk about who they are really, because they don't have an online presence. Why am I going to talk about a shop that you can't purchase from?
Right, right.
I think I sewed this one backwards. Yes, I am.
Yes.
I'm glad I haven't got but 4 stitches in.
Oh.
But I am very excited that what they are doing for their Saturday Sampler program for us is a block of the month that is accessible to people. Because like 2 years ago, they did Amish with a Twist as their Saturday Sampler, which is a block of the month. But that one's not as accessible to people. And then they've done other blocks of the months that aren't accessible. But this one, they're doing a very accessible one. So I'm like, I can get content out of it. I'm thrilled. And the blocks look very easy. And we've seen the end product. So I know that it's going to be a fun product.
Yeah, it's interesting because I bought the Coda block of the month this year. Have yet to get any of them done. So the intent is I'm taking those to the retreat with Rob Appel and going to work on them down there.
That'll be an awesome way to get those done. When I went to Stephanie's retreat last year, I had a what is that one called? Cotton cuts that I hadn't even started. So I got the entire thing done at her retreat. So
did you really?
Oh, okay. I got the entire thing done in 2 days at her retreat, because the cotton cuts is already pre-cut. So it's not like I'm doing a lot of extra stuff. All you do with the cotton cuts is sew. There's no trimming, there's no cutting or anything else. It's just pure sewing.
Yeah, so I've cut about half of mine. So the plan is between now and the end, before I go, to at least get them all cut. And then that way I can just do the sewing, and put those together. Of course, I've got the kit I bought for the because he's doing the New Year's Eve show. And so I bought the kit and that as well. So we'll see what all John gets done at the retreat. It's they have 40 people max, and they've sewed all seats and have a wait list. So
that is incredible for them.
Well, when Stephanie did the tour of the retreat center, when she went there and did I think it was an applique retreat.
Yep.
That place just looks gorgeous. So it'll actually be my first retreat.
That's exciting. Just make sure you wear a badge on you that says, "My first retreat, don't scare me too much."
Yeah, the cool thing is New Year's Day, we're having death by chocolate.
Yeah, it doesn't take much chocolate to death me.
Yeah, I remember you saying you're not a big chocolate person, are you?
I'm not a big chocolate person because there's something that's in most chocolate that I'm allergic to.
Ew.
Slightly allergic. It's not like it's going to kill me. It just gives me digestive distress. So, like I can eat M&Ms all day long and not have an issue. I cannot eat a Hershey bar.
No way.
So I haven't gone through to see what the ingredient difference is because I'm like, it doesn't bother me that much to not eat chocolate. So I will just not eat chocolate.
I think the biggest disappointment I ever had was one of the companies I worked for years ago. Every year, the second week in September, so it was just after Labor Day, we did a human resources retreat in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Ooh.
And so we used to get the tour, and we used to go to the factory shop and buy the chocolate and do all that. And I was so disappointed because like we'd be there for like 4 days when they maybe served like one chocolate dessert. I'm like, we're staying at the Hershey Hotel. Like, I mean, like I should be dying with all the chocolate,
right.
But no. I guess they figure people get burnt out on it. I don't know. Or the company was just cheap and didn't order the good stuff for us.
I mean, there could be that too.
Because we went there like 3 years in a row. And usually the main theme every year was how we needed to spend less money and cut back. And I'm like, okay, they clean my room 3 times a day and turn my bed down at night. So I know it's spending for me to sleep here, We could cut back by not having our retreat here every year. But I do like Hersheytown, USA. Hershey Park. So what table runner are you working on? Is it the Grinch or the other one?
I'm going back and forth between both of them.
Oh, are you?
Because I've been doing the chain piecing of them.
Oh yeah.
I've got I got the Carolina one done except for the quilting. So I gotta close this seam in and do a little bit of quilting, but it's like the seams are done.
Yes.
And then I'm pressing the Grinch one right now to see, and then I gotta figure out what thread I'm going to use for the quilting on that one.
And see, you can talk about those things, right? Because your sister doesn't watch the channel.
Exactly. I can actually, show this one. She knows she's getting a Christmas one. She just doesn't know that it's Grinch themed. And she's going to love it because she loves the Grinch.
I do love my Grinch. What's not to love about the Grinch?
A few years back, I made her a Grinch advent calendar.
Oh.
It came from a panel, and it was just a quick and easy project. And I gave it, I said to her, I was like, do you want your Christmas present now or on the 1st? And she's like, why would you give it to me on the 1st? It's either now or Christmas, right? I said, nope. And she's like, okay, I want it now. And then I gave it to her, and she goes, oh my God, I love this. And then I taunted her on the 2nd when she didn't have her Grinch moved. And she's like, I just haven't gotten to it yet. I was like, you've been up for like 3 hours.
We were talking before you joined this morning. You may have heard that someone said Stephanie needs to design a whole table runner series.
Yeah, I heard that just as I was running to use the restroom before this.
So we always have good plans for Stephanie. We can all
keep her busy. I'm on board with Stephanie doing a series. In fact, I think it was probably about this time last year. My local quilt shop had a, I think it was like it was a pattern of like 8 or 9 table runners that you can do. That it had a Halloween one, it had a Christmas themed one. I think it was just basically the big holidays, maybe not every month.
Yep.
But I bought it. I haven't touched it, but I bought it. Joydy is asking if I have a long arm. I mean, they're kind of average size for my size. I do have a Handy Quilter long arm. It's only the 8-foot size one, so I can't do huge projects. But it works and everything. And I know people that I can send my larger projects to if I need something bigger.
What it takes, it's so much learning within this world, right? I mean, it's not, it's easy to have my long arm set for a year before I finally got real training on it.
Oh, it's hysterical because, like, the last time David was here, he did 2 or 3 quilts on the long arm and he had 0 issue. 0 issue. And every time that I'm on it, it's like one time I'll do a quilt and I have 0 issue. The next time it has weird advancing issues. And when David was working on it yesterday, he was having advancing issues. Like it did not want to advance properly. So I was like, at least I know I'm not the only one who's doing this. And yeah, so we have to figure out what we're doing wrong that we're having advancing issues.
Well, and then it's funny because sometimes I think, is it really worth? I mean, I was fortunate, right? Because I bought mine used. I got the software, everything, and
mine was used too. So I was very fortunate as well.
All the difference, but then and then I see what some people have to pay to have their quilts long armed, and it's like, oh, okay, well maybe I do need to really learn this better because it's but it's a whole process.
Apparently, Handy Quilter is currently running a sale.
Who?
Handy Quilter.
Oh, okay.
And I was looking, I was like, okay, is the price that's here just for the machine or is this for the table as what? Like, it only listed the machine and the software. It didn't list the table size. So I'm assuming the tables are a separate cost than the machines. But seeing how just expensive the machine itself is, I was like, seriously? But then again, I know how much I paid for mine, and I know how good of a deal I got because it was used.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, really, at the end of the day, the only way to get one is used.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, unless you're buying it from a shop or someone that was contracting, taking work in, most of them don't have all that many stitches on them.
I think mine had 3 million stitches on it.
I don't think mine had that. I don't think she had done more than 4 or 5 quilts on it in the 3 years she owned it.
Well, mine was used in a shop.
Oh, okay.
But, they had like 6 machines going. So it's not like it was 24/7 running. I have no idea what thread I want to use to, what are the words? Quilt these with.
What are you saying? Did you say thread?
Yeah, I have no idea what color thread I want to quilt these with. Like, I don't know if I want to use a red thread or a black thread on this.
Right.
And I don't know which shade of blue to use on this one. I'm just looking at my wall of thread. I'm like, yeah, I got to figure out which color I want.
The last time I did the Grinch, it had the green in that. Blue was just a piece of it because I did it out of I think it was out of a layer cake, and so it had all the whole variety of the of that series in it. And I actually quilted mine in Glide lime green.
Oh,
but it turned out pretty cute because it had when it hit that red, when it hit the white, but yeah, when it ran across the blue, it was a little bit different. But again, it looks like the Grinch, right? I mean, that's just who the Grinch is.
I also got to figure out where my extra bobbins went.
Yeah, I happened to run across my bobbins yesterday because I have decided I want to take my Bernina 420 back down to the valley. And so I was packing that up, and yesterday I happened to pull open the right drawer that had Bernina bobbins, and I was like, "Oh, I'm glad I found those because I would have never thought to look for them, and then I would have ended up having to buy Bernina bobbins again that are specific to their machines and not cheap." Still trying to figure out what machine I want to bind on.
I had to stop my cam for a second because I did not want to give everybody that close of a view of me as I grabbed my bobbin behind this machine.
Candace says, I have a Bernina 220 sit-down long arm. Really wish I had the frame to quilt. I don't have the room unless I take over the dining room.
Yeah, take over the dining room. That's what happened to me.
Is that where yours is?
Yeah, which is why I can only fit the 8-foot frame because I've only got about 10 feet available in the dining room. So I'm squeezing by it. But that's until I get a chance to design and build out a studio, a addition to the house. Because I know I don't have enough room for like anywhere in the house. I do not have enough room for the 12-foot frame on the long arm.
Yeah, I think I've got mine open 10-foot.
Well, I could probably do a 10-foot, but that would end up costing me money because I would need to buy the 2-foot extension and everything else, and it would fit in maybe a room in the house. But seriously, with the 12-foot, because I have the 12-foot frame, which is basically the 8-foot frame without one of the extensions. So I have no issues going to a higher frame for any additional cost. If those words made sense. I was multitasking, so I don't know what the words just said. But yeah, I can easily just go in and when I have the extra room, I can go to a 12-foot frame and I don't have to buy anything else. But if I wanted the 10-foot frame, I'd have to find room as well, but I would have to buy the 2-foot extension table.
See again. So now you either send it out or you stay within those parameters, right?
Yeah. When I was thinking about buying the long arm, and I was told that the 10-foot or the 12-foot is what my option is, I had gone through my list of quilts that I had completed that somebody else had quilted for me. And I think only one of those quilts was larger than would fit on the frame, the 8-foot frame. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's great. Until I realized that I have 5 quilts that are larger than what'll fit on my frame in the queue.
Oh, do you really?
Yes.
Well, and I tell you what, I mean, folks don't realize long arming is not cheap. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, by the time you wrestle that back, batting, and it's a lot of work to get all of that loaded into the machine, let alone, the stitching's the easy part.
Right. Yeah. Once you get it loaded, it's no time to do the stitching. But the loading is what takes forever. And I've cut down a lot of time of loading with the red snappers.
Mm-hmm.
Because it used to take me upwards of an hour to load. And then I learned about the red snappers, and now it takes me like 10 minutes to load.
They do make all the difference. I ended up switching to the So-Tight magnets. And I do like using the magnets and that. But again, it's what you get used to and how comfortable you get with it.
Yeah.
Benita says she's having Mexican today instead of turkey, and she had to go get her burritos started. Happy Thanksgiving. So I think she's already tucked out on us. She's making burritos. Don't sound bad today.
I know. Except for the prices from Filiberto's, you said.
I could eat, but I love Mexican. I could eat Mexican 7 days a week. Mom and Pop says, up close and personal, Russ can see what Russ had for breakfast. I see a crumb. Oh, Jen says, I wish I had a dining room to take over. Big quilts on the DSM is a real workout. I get that. It does make a big difference, doesn't it? I'm trying to convince myself to take up less room. I already have 2 bedrooms and the utility room devoted to the craft. I'm like, I still do need the balance of the house to be the balance of the house.
Oh, just go buy a bigger house.
No, I hope to never move again in my life. My kid said something about, are you moving? Like my daughter would love for me to move back to Virginia. I was like, girlfriend, I need to tell you, I am hoping never move again. I hope have 2 retirement communities. There's no reason I should not outgrow either one of these.
I have a pipe dream of moving back to Massachusetts when I retire. But 1, it snows, and I'm like, I do not want to deal with the snow. And 2, real estate is so expensive up there that I would have to buy, I would have to buy such a small house with the proceeds of what I would sell this house for.
Yep.
And I'm like, I really do not want to, I can't downsize. I need to have a proper sewing room and everything else in order to, live.
Yeah, it's funny. You don't realize, I do, right, being out here because I'm close enough to California and have traveled there. Yeah. I mean, I get California prices, which are just ridiculous. It's funny because I have friends at work and they're like, but you have such a huge home. Like, you don't need all of that house for yourself. And I'm like, correction, I really do need all of that house for myself. Thank you. And every crook and nanny and closet and garage. I mean, every piece of it's loaded. I will say, though, I have been good, other than going online to the big box store today for batting, which you just can't beat that. I haven't really found anything that's really jumped out to me for Black Friday sales this year.
I haven't really looked. I do know that Urban Elements has a Black Friday sale going on, but their site is down for purchasing. Both David and I have tried several times yesterday to purchase, which is now reminding me I should probably try again real quick while I'm near the computer.
I think I've only bought one design from them. I usually buy, I've been using Creative Stitches. Is that right?
I don't know all of the, that does sound like one of the places.
Yeah, and they do a $5, they put out like 4 patterns a week for $5.
Uh-huh.
So I kind of got hooked on their $5, and then I realized in my software I had all the lady that owned it before had the gold package, and apparently had not downloaded. So all of a sudden I downloaded like 500 patterns.
Wow.
Actually, but the only problem is when they give them to you, like they give me, so now I have what they were giving me for December 2024, but you have to go in the folder and look at each one to see what's in there. You can't say I want Christmas or I want a stocking, or
really,
there's no reference to it. So you literally have to open every folder to see what's in that folder and then try to take a screenshot or something so you know what's there. It's like, okay, well, you ought to, it's great that you give us those every month if we're a subscriber, but you don't make it easy to find them and use them. Were they up and running?
They are not.
Crazy.
Yeah, it will, like, the site works. You can go find the patterns, you can look at everything, but the moment you try to check out, it does not work. Like I tried regular credit card, I tried PayPal checkout. Neither of them are working. The PayPal is saying that there's something wrong with the CAPTCHA.
Oh, the validation thing.
Yeah. And I'm like, if CAPTCHA is down, because there's another site that he was looking at and it's not working either. So I'm like, if CAPTCHA is down, that is a major problem for lots of vendors.
I was gonna say that impacts more than just Urban Element.
Yeah. And I'm kind of surprised that nobody is on top of this right now.
Joydie said she's in the mood for Thai green curry.
Not Jamie Oliver's Thai green curry.
I used to watch him a lot. He's on, he had a really cute show on Food Network for a few years.
He is basically the bane of Uncle Roger.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It's hysterical because, like, and I am all certain that Jamie Oliver has some awesome recipes. I fully accept that he probably does. But the only recipes that Uncle Roger has shown on that channel is his really bad ones. And it is amusing just to watch, you know, why are you putting this in? Like, Jamie Oliver put chili jam in his egg fried rice. And I'm like, you do not put chili jam in fried rice.
Charlotte says, I realized last night I really need to work on finishing quilts. I have 15 quilt tops waiting to be finished.
Oh my. Well, I can't tell you how many quilt tops I have waiting to be long-armed. There is a giant line in the living room on the banister that says these need to be long-armed. I just haven't gotten around to them. And most of them, they have the backings right with it. They, like, the backing doesn't need to be pieced or anything. It's just they need to be stitched, and it's getting time to spend down there to load and then stitch. Yeah, basically, I will spend one evening loading and the next day or evening stitching because that's the easiest way for me to do it.
Yep.
But it's just, I'd rather spend time in here getting more stuff done than finishing. Which is why I need a sewing studio where I can have my long arm and sewing machine in the same room, so I can have the long arm going and I can listen to it while it's just when it decides that it doesn't want to cooperate and it doesn't tear up the quilt.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how many I have left because I have spring and summery quilt tops I need to get done, but I have 3 that I need to get done for Christmas presents, and one of them it's my grandson. I just got that Hot Wheels one completed. I just did it yesterday while I was here. So, but I was working the whole day. And
I do not know any problem with any words you just said.
But now I got to get back to the valley and quilt it so I can get it shipped to him. It's actually bigger than I thought it was. It turned out to be more like a twin-size bed.
Oh, that's awesome.
And because my daughter goes, it's not that big, right? And I said, well, probably like she goes, well, could we do like a wall hanging with it? And I said, oh, yeah, that'll be fine. Then as I was sewing it, it called for a 2-inch, 3-inch, and 4-inch border. So I cut the middle border down to just be another 2-inch. And it's still big. I was like, not much you're going to be able to do about it. When he gets it, for the boy anyways, right? So she can deal. I dealt with her for many years. BVMK says, how ironic that bots are asking us humans to prove we aren't bots.
I know. And, teaching, like when the bots ask you, which of these has like a traffic light, we are teaching the bots to be better at, because it's not somebody was a human and said, okay, which of these are traffic lights. It's the bot went up and grabbed an image and said, okay, I'm looking for traffic lights in here. I think these are where my traffic lights are, but I need a human to help me verify. So it's the human that is verifying. And if the human matches what the bot thinks, then the bot basically says, okay, I did good. So the human obviously did good.
Oh, what a crazy world we live in.
I know.
Mom and Pop Quilt Shot says she truly loves her new studio building, which is 40 feet by 20 feet.
Oh, beautiful.
Can you imagine having that type of space? All right, 20 after. Let's do another giveaway. Oh, let me get that set up. I got 2 more to do.
You can do one now and do one in 25 minutes.
That's what I thought. All right, let's do.
One button.
All right, so I have a June Taylor Quilt As You Go tree skirt. And it actually comes with the template in that, and it's a quilt as you go. So I thought a tree skirt would be appropriate for this time of year. I actually bought this to do myself and ended up buying the tree skirt, the dye from AccuQuilt. So I thought, you know what? I'll put that as a giveaway today.
Why is it got to be a tree skirt? Why can't it be tree slacks?
You are so bad. So exclamation point tree, TREE. I will say I'm anxious to see what your vlogmas is going to be because I will kind of miss your dad jokes.
Well, it's Sunday that it starts, so.
That's just hard to believe, right? That December 1st is this weekend. I feel like I am so far behind.
Well, I've already decided that, the stuff that was supposed to be for Christmas this year that didn't make it isn't happening. I'll get them done for like January or February, and then I will either say, this was your Christmas, or give it to them actually for next Christmas. Because what are they going to do? Know that I didn't make it?
Carl says it's a tree kilt.
Ooh, a tree kilt.
And I get to meet Carl at the retreat. He's going.
I'm so excited for you for that. Carl tried to help me get my hair colored, but the product that he suggested did not like my hair. And I don't know if I want to be a fan of trying to bleach my hair, because I did the bleach once and it refused to take any coloring at all. Like I had to put red in my hair in order for it to actually not look bleach white.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm terrified of doing bleaching to my hair.
I use I'm at that age where I have to have a little help, so I use Just for Men shampoo.
I have used Just for Men for many years. When the pandemic happened, I stopped. So this is natural. And it's funny because when we used the product that Carl suggested, it only dyed the gray.
No way.
So that helped me know how much gray I actually have, which is a lot less than I thought. My hair looks much lighter when it's shorter. So like when it's short, I thought I had a lot of gray. I'm like, I don't have as much as I thought.
I'm completely gray. I have no
I
color.
do have a table runner.
Oh, I like that. Look at that.
So it's pointed at both ends, and it's basically a third of a yard and a half a yard of fabric, and you put them into a tube and you put the ends on and do like a Dresden plate for the ends.
Mm-mm. I really like that. All right, let's see who the winner is. KD Crafts.
And speaking of Katie Crafts, she said her hair voted no to perms years ago. Somewhere there are pictures of me with a perm in like 8th grade.
No way.
Oh, way. My sister came across them at one point, and I don't know how easy it is for her to find them and that, but I am totally willing to share those pictures if I ever find them, because they are hysterical. Because that was back when perms were the thing, and my hair really took the perm.
Well, that's what's funny, because like my hair loves this shampoo, and it's funny because one of the guys that I was going to said, he said, you put color on your hair. And I was like, well, of course I do. Don't we all? And he goes, like, your color looks great. Like, so,
yeah.
What are you using? Where does it come from? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, this is a guy charging $100, right, to color people's hair. Mine's a $9 bottle that comes out of the box. And he goes, John, he said, I'll be honest. He said, I couldn't do better. He said, for some reason, your hair likes that.
That's the same thing with mine. Like the shade of Just for Men that I was using is close enough to my natural color. And the guys, anybody who's done my hair, they were like, you dye your hair? Because at first, because it hides the gray so well, but it also matches everything. And I'm like, yeah, it's just magical with this.
I like the salt and pepper. I really like the salt and pepper look, but my problem is I went all salt and
you only got half the seasoning.
Yeah, I was like, nah, I don't want to have that much. Hey, Katie, if you would send me an email, john@guyscraft2.com, and just put tree in the subject and give me your address, and I will get that mailed out this weekend. Candace says, I had spiral perms in the 80s and 90s. Years later, after having kids, my hair went curly by itself.
So, funny perm story. There is this movie that came out in like 2001, maybe it was 2000, called Legally Blonde.
Yes.
And we went to watch it in the theaters. A friend, my best friend at the time, and I. And as soon as the daughter says that she had gotten a perm earlier that day, I was like, oh! And my friend was like, what? I was like, she couldn't have. And then Elwoods is going through the whole thing where you were in the shower, right? And then does a whole about the ammonium dichlorphenate or whatever it's pronounced.
Yep.
and then my friend goes, how did you know this?
It is amazing the beauty secrets we pick up over time, isn't it?
I know.
I just remember that he was European.
No, that's in the musical. He's gay or European.
It's not in the movie?
No, he's just a pool boy in the movie.
Oh no. And I remember what he wore as the pool boy too.
Yeah, and Adelta knew would not sleep with a man in a thong. She just likes to look. It's one of my favorite movies, and anytime my sister or I are watching that movie and we get to that courtroom scene where the guy in the back stands up and says, "You bitch," we will snap a photo and send it to each other. And like that's all we need to send, and we're like we're on each other's page right there.
I like the soundtrack from Legally Blonde. I play it every so often. I like
the movie or the musical?
The musical.
Okay. I mean, I love both.
Yes, but I like the musical. I like the soundtrack from the musical. I like Kinky Boots.
Yeah.
There's several soundtracks like that that when I'm in the mood, it just drives people nuts because it's like, is that all you listen to? And I'm like, well, for a couple of days, I don't know. I get really...
It was funny. Before the days of MP3s, I would keep just a handful of CDs in the office, so I had something to listen to, because we had actually CD players on our computer. And people come at my desk and be like, your CDs don't make any sense. And I'm like, there are songs that I love. So they're like, but there's Garth Brooks, there's Rent, there's Chicago, the musical, there's Backstreet Boys. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And then things like Napster got me to listen to a lot of stuff that I had never listened to before, never thought to. And I bought so many CDs while I had Napster. And then they shut that down and I stopped buying as many CDs.
I remember I got in to move my son's car one day, and I think he was listening to the Eagles. And it was just too funny because I was like, damn, you listen to the Eagles. You like that old stuff. And his response was priceless. He goes, do not ever speak to me about music again. And I was like, well, what do you mean? He goes, all my friends make fun of me. And how so? And he goes, okay, so you raised me on these stupid Beach Boys that went to the Rolling Stones, that became Journey, that became the Eagles. He's like, so all my friends were like, we even heard of half the music you listen to. Like, that's all we heard in my house. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. He goes, you messed me up for life. Well, that's because your generation had rap. You didn't have drum solos. You didn't have, it's like, you didn't have good music. I mean, it's not the same.
It really isn't.
And now it bothers me because I turn on the oldies station and it's the 80s. I'm like, no. Oldies is not the 80s, people.
Yeah, it's like the first scene of one of the shows that I watched back in the day. It was like 2000. And the first scene is like, when did 70s night become 80s night?
Well,
and then now it's probably 90s night.
I remember not too long ago, my daughter called and she goes, do you remember that movie we watched every now and then as a kid? And it had these people in it and it was a beach and blah, blah, blah. And I said, are you talking about Beach Blanket Bingo? And she goes, yeah. She said that had that Mickey Mouse star. I said, no, that was Annette Funicello. I thought, oh my God, I guess I really did mess my kids up because that was way before my generation, but it's just, my sister was 14 years older. I had, I just had different influences.
Yeah. Because when I was growing up, all Mom wanted to listen to was the oldies.
Yep.
And then Dad was just nothing but 80s country. So it was, or late 70s, early 80s country. And like his favorite song was Mac Davis, Hard to Be Humble.
I gotta remember that. It's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way.
I can't wait to look in the mirror.
Oh yeah.
And I will randomly start singing that. I'm like, okay, yeah, Dad's here with me, like getting my attention.
It is.
And then
funny.
Mom's favorite song in the last handful of years was Peaches. I can't remember who it's by, but it'll pop up in my sister's playlist every now and then, and she'll snap a picture and say, hi, Mom. And lately it has been popping up in my YouTube list, and I'll snap a picture and be like, hi, Mom. Which I have no idea how it even thinks about showing up in my YouTube list because I've never searched for it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But I'm like, it's gonna happen. I'm just gonna let it there, and Mom's thinking about me.
It's that. It's funny how we make those connections, right? Food brings that connection.
Yeah.
Or if
music really does.
It's funny because I've got a new special friend and we were talking about Christmas movies. It's not Christmas to me if I don't get to see White Christmas. And so, it's Bing Crosby and Rosemary Clooney and all that, but there's something about that movie. I just have watched that like my whole life. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh my God, I like that movie too. Like, I thought, it's funny how different, you just make a connection and it's like, to me, it's not the holidays. Some people like Miracle on 34th Street or others, but for me, it's White Christmas.
Charlie Brown Christmas and Garfield Christmas.
Right.
That's me.
And Apple bought all the movies, right? So now you got to have Apple if you want to see Charlie Brown.
I have them on Blu-ray. I refuse to let a company tell me what I can and cannot watch, because like a lot of services, they will bring stuff in and take them away, and even if you purchase them through digital, they can still be pulled. Crunchyroll has been guilty of that recently, along with a couple other services where they just pulled their digital library, even if you have paid for everything. And I'm like, no, I refuse. I still want my physical media.
Yep.
We don't discuss what happens if there's no physical media available. But like just about everything that I watch has been purchased on Blu-ray or DVD, or I have the albums purchased. Just because like Dogma is a really good example, because it has been stuck in I can't remember his name. It's basically been unavailable to purchase for about 15 years.
Oh,
and
really?
It's not available on streaming. It's not available like anywhere because the rights were purchased from somebody. Kevin Smith now has the rights back, so they're about to finally re-release it and everything. But it's been unavailable for so many years, and it's never made it to streaming anywhere. So if I didn't have the Blu-ray, I would not be able to watch one of my favorite movies.
Well, and the problem is, what's interesting is CD Blu-rays have seemed to really stay around, where VHS all of a sudden just disappeared, and
VHS went away because of the video quality. And the very first DVD I ever watched was Thelma and Louise.
Oh my God.
And it confused me slightly with the fact that I didn't have to rewind it. Because I watched it at my friend Misty's house. I don't remember what time of year it was there, but we were doing an online meetup or something. And I was at her house, and Thelma and Louise was on, and I was watching it. And then at the end, I'm like, wait, I don't have to rewind this.
I remember. Please be kind. Rewind.
Yeah. And yeah, just what was in college, I had the original trilogy of Star Wars on VHS. I still have it. And a friend of mine and I, we did a marathon, and we had to sit there for the 3 or 4 minutes it took to rewind after watching each of the movies. We ended up taking breaks and going to get lunch or something and dinner. But I was like, this is a lot of time. And then my complaint about Blu-rays and DVDs now is all of the intro stuff that you can't skip. So all of the movie production companies and getting through the trailers and the FBI warnings and stuff. I have ripped all of my media and only store it locally, so I'm still within the proper copyright rules. But when I decide that I want to watch Dogma, I don't have to sit and wait for the FBI warning, for the trailers, or anything else. I can just say, okay, Dogma, play, and it starts the movie, just like streaming.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that a lot better than having to deal with, companies saying we're not going to have this anymore, or having to have Blu-ray players in all my rooms to watch whatever I want. Which also makes it easier because I fall asleep to I Love Lucy, and I can go every episode in order and not have to flip discs.
Yeah. Judy says, we all messed our kids up, that her kids used to watch, her daughter used to watch Gidget movies, and her friends would make fun of her.
Nickelodeon, when I was growing up, had a lot of the really old shows, like the Monkees and things like that. I didn't know that they were old shows, and I loved them to pieces.
Had the Monkees and had Sally Field, the Flying Nun.
Yeah, they had all the stuff. And I'm talking Nickelodeon proper, not Nick at Night. And I had no idea that. I mean, I assumed that Dennis the Menace was an older show because it was black and white, but I had no idea if it was 5 years older or 20 years older, because my viewing of television, we had a lot of color, but when I got cable, we had a lot of black and white stuff still showing on the cable, so I had no perception of old and new.
I don't know, just so crazy. Katie Kraft says, my CD album had everything from classical to opera to country to heavy metal to jazz. Yes, I'm an equal opportunity music lover.
I approve of that.
Charlotte says she's got her trees now ready to sew.
Awesome.
Yes. I've got her trees here, and I need to assemble them, but I want to press them. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to wait, and I will do that later.
Yeah,
you got both your table runners done.
Well, I have one done. I have to figure out the color thread that I want on this one, and then and that all that's going to take is it's 4 seams. So I'm considering that basically done. It's just 4 quilting seams that I need to do, the side seams and the top and bottom.
does feel good when we get a project done, doesn't it?
That's one of the other good things about it's called a 10-minute table runner. It takes me 45, but it's done completely. Like I don't have to do batting for it. I don't have to get on the long arm. It's just a couple straight line quiltings and it's done. So I'm thrilled. Like if you look at this, let's see if the camera will show it up. All I did was a single line stitch, like in the ditch or aside from the ditch. So that's all I did. And then to seal this in, it's like 1/8 of an inch lip that I just sewed it there. So it's a very simple, I don't have to do much. And then the threads on the end, I just knot them up and use just a drop of what is that stuff called?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
The spray stuff.
Yeah, it comes out.
Yeah, just a single drop and let that dry, and I will never lose my my stitches.
Now you don't put batting or foam or anything.
There is no batting in here. Probably mostly because it's a lot of extra work to figure out how wide you need your bat, like because your batting needs to be this wide.
Yep.
And if you don't know what this wide is, because like I said, you're creating just a tube and then turning it inside out.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. I do have a couple videos on my channel last year of me doing these. My sister last year picked out all the fabrics, so she knew what all the table runners were going to be. So it's not like she was surprised. I think this is the only one that she doesn't know the fabrics that she's getting because she wanted a June for Pride table runner, and she sent me fabric for that one. And so she knows what that one is basically going to look like. But the Christmas one, I was like, well, I had Christmas fabric that I was going to do for one. I didn't get around to doing it in case she wanted it. I can't find that fabric.
No way.
And I was in the quilt shop this past weekend, and when I saw the Carolina fabric and I saw the Grinch fabric, I was like, okay, it was meant to be this way.
Sometimes it works out for us, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Katie Kraft says, Blockbuster and rewinding. What a hassle.
I know.
I remember when they came out with just the rewinders was a big deal. Remember?
I know. Yeah, those were always really like, it's like, I want one. That way it's the whole DVD concept where you don't have to sit and wait for it to rewind. The rewinders were pretty bad on your tapes though, because
yes, that's what I always heard.
So much of a higher speed. I was like, no, I can live with the 5 minutes it takes to rewind.
I will say that I do miss Blockbuster. I watched, you didn't get to see it, but Netflix had a special of the last Blockbuster just shut down.
Yeah, I've seen stuff in my feed about it, that it just shut down and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of sad. Somewhere at my house, I still have my Blockbuster card.
Of course you do. I miss Blockbuster, though. I liked going on Friday nights. We'd spend 30, 45 minutes sometimes like, I don't know, we didn't keep up with movies. And yet we could go in and see what were the new movies. You could touch it. You could feel it. It's not the same scrolling through. And now you scroll Netflix and Paramount and all of them because you don't know who's got the rights to what.
It was amusing because I got my Blockbuster card in Massachusetts in college. And then when I moved to Georgia, I was dating Josh and he wanted to do movie night and we went to Blockbuster. He forgot his card. And I was like, well, I got my Blockbuster card. For some reason, I had it on me. And I handed it to the guy behind the counter. He's like, what is this? I'm like, it's a Blockbuster card. He's like, I haven't seen this style before. I mean, it's only like a 5-year-old card at the time, but they were more, I think at that point they had the credit card style instead of laminated style. So I have a laminated Blockbuster card.
I remember the laminated cards. That's what I had, I think, back in the day.
Yeah. So they scanned the Blockbuster card. It had to go dial the central database to find me. And then I had to spend a few minutes to update my address and stuff because it had me still living in Massachusetts. And I think that was the last time I used my Blockbuster card.
I don't know, just so crazy. I remember in college we had the video vault, and that was a big deal because then we could go rent movies with, because I was in college, I didn't have to have my parents or anything, have my own account. And then I remember we had a room with a curtain, and you could go through the curtain if you were over 18 and look at those movies to rent. So I remember the first time I went in there, I was really surprised at some of the things they had sitting on the shelf behind the curtain. And but what was more interesting is when you go to rent movies and that, and you watch the different professors from the university come out from behind the curtain. It was like, oh, okay, that says everything I need to know now.
That was very much how when we were growing up in Massachusetts, they had the in town they had the whatever the rental place was, and you would occasionally see people coming in and out of that back section, and we're like, oh, really now, Mr. So-and-so?
All right, it's time for our last giveaway. We only got about 10 minutes left. So,
and then David and I can go to the Waffle House and then go to the movies.
Yeah, see, you get to skip out. I got to drive all the way down the mountain to the valley. So I have the Dragon's Breath Aurifil thread kit. So this has actually 10 different colors in it. Yeah, 10 colors, $2.20 each.
Are those the Tula Pink colors? Did I see Tula Pink logo on there?
Yeah, they are. They're Tula Pink.
Ooh.
So you know how much I love Tula Pink.
Not as much as I do.
Exclamation point thread. THREAD. Yeah, the pattern you just did the other day, I think it was Rock Candy. From Stephanie, I thought, oh, you know what? I think that would make really show off some of my Tula Pink if I used that.
You mean the one that I showed off the other day? I didn't do it the other day.
No, but you had it. But you were showing it the other day.
Yeah, it was in show and tell from the local quilt shop.
Yeah, but Rock Candy was the right name, right?
Yeah, that's a Stephanie pattern. It would show off a lot of awesome Tula Pink fabric. Yeah,
because I got to thinking about that the other day. Did you see the new So Yell collection that they just came out with?
I did. I love their fabrics. It's a pain in the neck for me to try to watch them because I want everything, and then I end up getting a $500 hangover invoice.
Yep.
So I try to stay away from them. Like, even, especially on nights that I'm like, I want everything. Like Tula night or that, I'm like, I'm just turning them off. They don't exist tonight.
I watched when they released their new fabrics. Fortunately, I got interrupted because the guy that was putting my permanent Christmas lights had come. And so I had to go out and talk to him. But I'd watched for like the first 20 minutes. And they were still talking about the fabric stuff. It's like, dudes, if you all get to the point where I could purchase something, I might buy something. And then by that point, he interrupted me. So that's what saved me a lot of money that night. And
yeah,
I just haven't been back to shop it. And I thought, okay, I really don't need their fabric because I've got 2 drawers full of Tula Pink.
I've also been leery about purchasing from them because I've purchased in the past, and the fabric on the screen doesn't look exactly the same as when it comes in the mail.
Yep.
And like the first time that I got my hangover invoice and got my product, I was going through, I was like, why would I have ordered this? So I went back and I was going through, I'm like, okay, this is the same thing, but it looks so much better on the screen than in person. So it was around that time where I said, I'm only purchasing online designers that I know. Like, I have zero issues blind purchasing Tula Pink. I have zero issues blind purchasing Camille Ross Kelly. But like, if it's a designer I don't know, like when they first released their Not Your Mama's Garden from the Spaghetti Brothers, I was like, I'm kind of scared, and I didn't purchase any of it. But I now have a fat quarter bundle of it because David sent it to me earlier this year, and I'm like, I would have bought this if I had known that it was this awesome. But without knowing the fabric, I'm just concerned, because if I don't know it, I don't want to buy it.
Yeah, see, and I'm close enough. I would love one trip to run up to Vegas and see it, but
David was in Vegas last week, but he was so busy he didn't get a chance to go see that shop.
Yeah, see, I've never gone off the strip in Vegas. So, all right, let's see who wins the Kathy DeVries.
Congratulations.
So if you would send John at guyscraft2.com an email, put thread in the subject, and send me your address, and I will get that mailed out to you this weekend.
Dale says that Soya has a 12-hour Black Friday sale going on tomorrow.
I saw that. See, that makes Dale an enabler. You see that?
And well, again, it's more of a problem that I have with we're going to show you and you decide if you want to buy it or not. You have to sit and watch the entire thing, and then you can't put things back later. And like, there's other things like that where like I want to know what the inventory is going to be so I can make my decision. I will sit and watch the 12 hours if that's the rules, but show me the inventory ahead of time so I know if it's worth watching the 12 hours to get the stuff that I want, and so that I don't have to say, well, I really want this, but I purchased this earlier. Stephen was talking about that in his blog this week, where he was upset that his local quilt shop is doing a single day sale. And, you know, if you don't know what's coming up for sale and you purchase this big ticket item, and then the next day there's another thing that you want, and you wanted it more, but it's out of your budget.
Yep.
Because you bought this other big ticket item, it's not fun.
Yeah, I mean, I get building the anticipation. I get doing, I understand overall, but it's like, just like I would have
when your primary people usually have limited incomes, because the average age of a quilter is retirement age. Or in that, I mean, we're trying to bring it down. But those of us that are trying to bring it down are slowly getting older.
Yep.
And I'm like, you can't do that to your customer base. And like, if they really want these 4 things and they can't, I feel bad.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I really need to work through some of the kits I have, some of the stuff. Like, I am pretty much decided I don't think I'm going to do a lot of boxes next year. I've even thought about stopping one of my favorites just because I'm so far behind on projects. And it's like, I don't need to just keep building inventory, right? I need to instead complete projects and let stuff, catch up, and then go back and start, because it's almost not any fun to buy stuff anymore because I've got so much sitting on the shelf. It's like, which one do I do first? I
have I have 3 planned purchases for 2025, and hopefully that's it. Planned purchase number 1 is going to be, I believe it's called the Summertime line that Camille Ross Kelly is going to be releasing in April.
Oh.
And that's only because I have a block of the month pattern that I want to do in that fabric. Purchase number 2 is going to be an Advent box, but it's not going to be your average ordinary Advent box. It's going to be a special Advent box that I'm the only one who's going to have this. It's a one of a kind. Basically, for my Advent opening next year, I'm going to have my sister build me an Advent box of quilting stuff. And then number 3, and it's a 3 asterisk, is whatever lines Tula puts out. But I'm probably just going to do a kit for those. And like I've been doing for her last few lines, I'll purchase a kit. And then that way I don't have all of this extra fabric just sitting around that I don't quite know what to do with.
Yeah, and I've got both. I think I've got one kit, but I did end up purchasing a lot of fabric. And that's why now I look and go, okay, rock candy, that would show Tula off, because you really want to show Tula Pink off, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it's,
that's why her stuff is so great for bags. Like if I knew how to make bags, I would probably be more apt to buy Tula, but then I would have to start selling bags because you can only make so many bags for yourself. Or like my sister wants all my trial bags, and I'm okay with that. But you can only make so many bags for yourself, so I'd have to start selling them. And I mean, Adam has a awesome market for that. I know most of his stuff is easier purchased and shipped in the UK than shipping out here, but I don't really want to take away customers from him.
Right.
Especially because that would mean more work for me.
You don't want to do craft shows either.
Yeah, no. No.
Been there, done that. It's a lot of work. People have
a friend of mine does craft shows, and his big ticket item that he likes to sell is emotional support chickens.
Oh.
It's basically a pyramid of fabric with the little chicken gobble, whatever this thing's called.
Yeah.
And some of them have the comb on top. And it's just made with novelty fabric. And I purchased, like, because he had been showing them, but it was like right after Christmas that he showed some fabrics that are like, my cousin would love this, my sister would love this. Like, so I picked emotional support chickens for everybody in the family. They have still been sitting in the box in the kitchen since January. But I have everybody in the family an emotional support chicken.
So now you can put it in a stocking and give it to them as their Christmas.
Yeah. Well, the plan was for Christmas this year. That was the plan. But because fabric, they sell out quickly. And if he brings his stuff to craft fairs, so I did not want to risk this fabric that is no longer in print to be sold throughout the year. In fact, some of the stuff he's managed to find additional fabric on like Etsy and that at a higher price, but he knows his chickens sell with that fabric, so he is willing to pay a little bit of a premium for it.
Does make all the difference. Dollar talks, doesn't it?
The dollar talks, yeah.
Well, dude, we're at the top of the hour.
We are. You had a very successful quilting bee.
I did.
How many blocks did you finish making?
I got I have 2 trees done out of.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, so I will get there.
I know her products, her patterns are very simple, and I'm looking forward to having time to do one of those.
This cut out so nice is what I liked. It just cuts so quickly.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving.
I hope you do too, and your travel back to the valley and your weekend Thanksgiving with your friend.
Thank you. and enjoy Wicked today. I bet that's going to be fun for you and David.
Oh, wickedness must be punished.
Well, we'll be in touch over the weekend. Until
Alright.
next time, happy crafting.
Bye.